Listen to me. We don't want to kill any of you. But trust me, we will. Wake them up a little!
This whole thing is pretty much done. We're more ghosts than people.
You have got to keep faith. They will not crush us.
Good old Dutch. My best friend. You know how we met? Pair of hucksters trying to rob each other. Back in 78 or thereabouts.
You have to love yourself a fire. It's one of the blessings. Sure, we can have fire. And we can have the knowledge of fire. But with that comes the knowledge of everything. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a robbery.
Sons of Dutch. Makes us brothers. Sometimes, brothers make mistakes.
You'll never change. I know that.
All of you venerate savagery. And you will die savagely.
Get out here! Stay strong. Stay with me.
Okay, welcome to Chapter 12 of Handy with the Steel, a game using Heroes and Hardships by Arlo Fife. Alpha build of that, and this is a new day finally. This is the 4th day of the campaign. This campaign is run in a very tight time frame, and so this are 4 consecutive days, and this is the morning of that 4th day. It's a Friday, and here's the paper of today. Gundy laid to rest. Sheriff Gunderson was laid to rest Thursday afternoon. Reverend Carson's words were fitting and kind. The whole town commiserated to see off this affable servant of the law. Notable speakers were Bill Tucker and Kate, the Madam of the Jewel. Next of kin has been wired in Texas. Please respectfully mourn our fallen sheriff in your own way. Captain Eugene Walker preparing expedition for justice. Captain Walker, the Buffalo soldier officer, told this reporter that he and his men were preparing an expedition south to drive out the foul murdering Injuns. Let's say a prayer in hopes his expedition is successful. Bill Tucker, appointed sheriff. Bill Tucker, former deputy to both Mayor Hill and Sheriff Gunderson, was made sheriff after the passing of Gundy. It is unknown if Mr. Tucker will seek election in the months to come. Let us all wish well to the newly appointed sheriff. And there's a picture of Sheriff Gunderson. The previous day has seen quite a bit of drama. Certainly with the death of Sheriff Gunderson, but even after so. Nelson Ward and Bill Tucker made their way up to Jessabelle Dunn's manor just outside of town to pay their respects and talk to her about a attempt on her life that was rumored in the town a couple days before. The meeting seemed to go okay, would be probably the most fitting word for it. Until, well, a note was passed over to Deputy Nelson, and Deputy Nelson took it on himself to head to the stables. At the stables, he attempted to claim a horse that was Mary Dunn's, because the note asked him to do so. It was a change of ownership. But when Nelson went into the barn, he found Miguel, or as Jezebel calls him, Maxwell, in the barn already with one of her servants, Winifred. Nelson was stopped by Maxwell, and Maxwell protested at him taking the horse. Nelson offered the note and the transfer of ownership as proof, but unfortunately for Nelson and unfortunately for Maxwell, he could not read English. Who knows if he could have read Spanish. After a long back and forth, Miguel drew steel, and Nelson Ward was just a bit quicker. And in that quickness, he shot down Jessabelle Dunn's hired hand. Soon after, the chaos erupted, and Jezebel and even Sheriff Tucker returned to the scene to see what was amiss. There was all sorts of confusion. Jezebel claiming that Mary does not own this horse, and Nelson simply attempting to ascertain what was the truth of the matter, and Bill Tucker standing by dumbfounded. In the end, Nelson left with Sheriff Tucker back to town, leaving Jessabelle Dunn and her other man, Sticky Joe O'Connor, at her manor. When Sticky Joe and Jezebel returned to her home, she found that Mary was gone, with the servant who had passed Nelson the note, Rosie. That night had not been a pleasant one for anyone. The following morning, there was a lot to do. In town read Kate, who had met with Sticky Joe just that day, pulled up her skirt and left the Jewel, heading towards the manor to meet with Jezebel as had been arranged. She did not know the temperament of the woman, and certainly what had befallen her to potentially put her into an ill mood. And we'll switch the scene. One moment. So Nelson, will get to you in a little bit.
Yep.
Kate, feel free to describe your approach to the manor.
Kate is riding, but doesn't look particularly comfortable or happy to be on a horse. She's not dressed as she does at the Jewel. She's wearing something that's quality but plain, doesn't stand out. She's got her hair braided and tucked up under a wide-brimmed hat. It's as if she's trying not to draw attention on her way to the Dunn Manor. She pulls up. She arrives, gets off the horse, and a little awkwardly brushes off her skirts, looking quite happy to be off of that saddle. With that, she looks around for someone, expecting a servant to take her horse.
As you ride up to the manor, you find it fairly deserted, at least outside. You don't see anyone milling about. You don't see anyone obviously there to take your reins and to either stable the horse or whatever they do. There is a hitching post nearby, but there is certainly no one there to greet you.
A little curious and also slightly miffed, Kate takes the reins and leads the horse up to the hitching post, ties the reins to it. She looks around again, not seeing anyone. She takes off her hat and walks to the front door and raps firmly on it.
She raps on the door. There's a very long delay. Go ahead, Matt.
Jezebel hears the rapping on the door. First, she feels the urge to call for a very familiar name for Rosie, and just as she kind of gets out that first consonant, she holds her tongue, eyebrows furrow. This entire morning, she's been stewing, thinking on the fact that Rosie's left, that Mary's left. Knowing that Mary's adult, and she barely knows anything. Rosie being the one that probably knows quite a bit, as she's been with her for so long over the years. Jezebel steels herself after trying to call out for the servant that's been with her so long. It's now gone. She relaxes her brow, brushes off her dress. She's wearing her usual blue dress, frilled collar, very tightly fitted with a corset underneath, holding her all in. She brushes off the front of her dress and picks it up, making her way down the steps. This is one of the first times that she's had to open her own door, whether it was Rosie or Maxwell who used to open it. This fact almost annoyed her more than the fact that Rosie was gone. She knew she'd have to be hiring someone very soon. She made her way to the door, and before opening it, taking a deep breath and putting on that Southern Belle smile before she opened the door, seeing the visage of Red Kate before her. Oh, welcome, Kate. I assume that's who you are, at least. You look the part.
And Kate gives a cordial smile, always a little bit quirked up on one side. Well, I was surprised, but very pleased to receive your invitation.
Well, why don't you come in? She opens the door wider, taking a step back and gesturing for Kate to enter.
Of course. And Kate gives her a little nod as she walks in, takes a good look around. What a lovely home you have. So remote out here, though. I suppose you don't get lonely?
Well, I usually have the help around. Helps it not get so bad. Plus not dealing with the riffraff of the city. She gives Kate a very forced smile as she leads her into kind of the parlor area. Please, take a seat. I think we be having much to discuss.
I thank you kindly. And she sits down on the couch, setting her hat down next to her. Speaking of help, I was a little surprised to see the mistress of the man answering the door herself.
Jezebel takes a seat in her usual chair and crosses her ankle, putting her hands on her lap, and again giving Kate that very strained smile. Well, yes, I'm going through a little bit of a hiring process, right? Unfortunately, good help is so hard to find nowadays. I'm sure you're familiar.
Oh, that is very true. If you'd like, I'd be happy to keep a ear to the ground for anyone who's looking for work. Someone reliable.
That'd be mighty fine there. Kate. Do you prefer Kate or Red Kate?
Kate or Catherine, whatever you prefer. My friends call me Kate.
Catherine, then. Again, she'll give Kate a bit of a wider smile. So, I'm assuming you're wondering why I called you here, though before we get started, I did want to offer my condolences for your girl there who passed away.
Kate. Expression hardens for a minute, and she deliberately clears it from the hardness from her face and returns the smile. Yes, it was quite unfortunate. I thank you. And though I was surprised to get the invitation, I know that it's only a matter of time before I receive an invitation to just about anyone's house.
Jezebel cocks an eyebrow. That's quite interesting. I don't get much into the rabble of the city. You must be the talk of the town then, considering what, you came in a few weeks ago to set up and you already got an operation going?
Well, I did have quite a bit of money to invest. It was a fortunate position to have to be leveraged, to be able to get up and go right away. And, well, no one hears things like the person running a saloon, so eventually I expect everyone to come in and try to curry favor, as the case may be.
I'm just interested, using all that money that you have, that you decide to open a pleasure house instead of maybe make some more... She pauses for a moment, thinking about the right words to say, more pleasant words to say. More respectable ambitions and investments.
Kate thinks for a minute, actually seeming to ponder the right answer to give. Respectability. I was born with it, but I found it to be more of a shackle on my life. I soon traded it in for something that I value more highly, and that's freedom. There are things that I can do in my daily life that a respectable person such as yourself would not be able to without compromising their reputation. And so, yes, we all choose what we're going to sacrifice. I sacrificed my respectability, and a person like yourself has to sacrifice a good deal of freedom.
Jezebel closes her eyes and downcast her head slightly. Smirk appears across her face before she looks back up to Kate. Yes, unfortunately, women of my stature normally do have to sacrifice quite a bit of freedom. Though, unfortunately, and fortunately for me, due to my late husband's untimely demise, I did gain quite a bit of freedom back. Though I am deeply, of course, saddened by his passing. The properties that I've inherited have offered me quite a bit of freedom to do what I need to do.
Yes, money in and of itself does provide opportunities. I won't argue the point with you. There are things that I can do that you in your position will never be able to do without being run out of town on a rail. But perhaps that's why you invited me here. For what I can offer.
Indeed. She actually looks upstairs. You mind if we go up to my office? We can speak more as women up there.
Well, I certainly don't see any interlopers down here, but if that's what makes you more comfortable, I certainly don't mind.
It is indeed. Jezebel gets up from her seat and picks up the front of her skirt before making her way up the steps.
And Kate, wearing today the simple skirt, no bustle, is able to follow. More comfortable than she usually is in her garb at the saloon.
Jezebel makes her way into her office, opening the door, leaving it open. And she does. She looks back. You mind closing that on your way in?
A little irritated at the tone, she still takes the door and shuts it behind her. Of course not. Happy to oblige. And with that, she goes and she finds a chair and sits down in it without invitation.
Jezebel makes her way over to her own seat and sits down. There's a bottle of whiskey sitting on the desk. She actually grabs two of the glasses. Normally she has two sitting on her desk just in case she's in a meeting. One that looks a bit heavily used, the other one fairly not. She'll pour about 2 fingers of whiskey in the one, about 3 in the other for herself. She pushes the one with 2 over to Kate. Now, I think we can talk a lot more openly and comfortably in here. Though I'm fairly comfortable in my own house, a lot of the gentlemen within my abode might not fully approve of some of the language and some of the things which we may speak of. And I just prefer to do it in my own comfortable space.
Of course, you can trust in my discretion.
I do hope so. She lifts up a glass, tilting it towards Kate before taking a small drink. She puts it back down on the desk. She looks up to Kate and intertwines her fingers together, putting her elbows on the desk. Now, I did want to ask, you are a fairly ambitious woman, seems building up such a notable and such a well-known name within a fairly short time. I did want to know exactly what maybe your future plans exactly are for this city.
Kate leans back in the chair. She crosses her fingers together in her lap, looks at Jessabelle, and then she sort of looks off into the distance with a half smile on her face. Plans, well, I aim to see this town prosper. But in order to make a garden grow, you need a gardener who knows what they're doing, where to prune, where to fertilize. And I believe myself to be that gardener.
Jezebel cocks an eyebrow. You alone think that you are the sole gardener of this town, LeClaire?
Oh, I think that others are trying their best, but I think they lack the long view.
What is your long view there, Catherine?
Well, I aim to bring the railroad here, and I aim to make sure that the town of LeClaire itself is prosperous and lovely to behold for all who deign to visit. Of course, that'll require opening several more businesses of various types. Can't trust those things to other people who won't do it right.
And you have the money for these sorts of endeavors, do you?
Oh, I've got the seed money. I aim to see it grow as things go. The jewel is, well, you've probably heard, but already making money hand over fist.
Indeed, and I'd be thinking that some of that at least comes from my miners. At least a portion.
It does indeed. Of course, that's one of the primary functions of an establishment like my own, is to keep the local employees happy so that the mine owners, such as yourself, don't have to pay them exorbitant wages in order to keep them in a boring little shit town like LeClaire.
Jezebel smiles as Kate curses there. Indeed. Speaking of mines, I'm guessing you read the paper, hearing about the planning of my untimely demise that did not go through.
And Kate nods solemnly. I read that article several times. Saw your picture in it. She bites her lip. Have to say, I was thinking of coming to talk to you even before I received the invitation. I admire a woman who doesn't feel she needs a man's guidance in order to run a business. And I'm offended on your behalf that some man somewhere thinks that he can take it by force.
Well, that's my issue there. Some man. You hit the nail on the head in terms of that. It definitely is some man, as I don't know exactly who is the one who attempted to take my life and attempt to take my mind. Now, I'm knowing that if I was to be deceased somehow, my properties would go up for public auction. And fortunately and unfortunately, there's only approximately 2 people who that could have gone to. Either the Prestons or the Butler Company. And the Butler Company has been making moves, if you're not aware, to be taking some of these smaller mines out from under folk.
Oh yes, I'm quite aware. The Butlers have quite the reputation for nasty business, and so of course are the obvious culprits, but obvious is not always the truth.
See, now you're thinking the way that I am. Yeah, it's very easy to paint the scapegoat as a Butler Company. Very, very easy. But recently, and I'm sure it'll be in tomorrow's papers, they always seem to get the scoop before the sheriff does. And she'll kind of scratch her nose at that. Well, unfortunately, another mine owner has gone missing. This time from one of Preston's parties after leaving. As far as I know, the only people that have been knowing where he was the Preston. Therefore, it is my assumption that the Prestons had something to do with his untimely disappearance when I was about to close a deal on his mine.
Kate sort of brings her fingers up and puts an index finger on her chin as if she's thinking. So these butlers weren't at the party, I'm assuming.
As far as I know, interacting with the guests, no. They could have been, of course, but it just seems too easy.
Also, as someone who has eyes and ears in various places, it's possible that some of the help might have been passing on information to the butlers.
Of course. I understand your ways of handling gentlemen folk who come into your business. And I understand ways of you keeping open ears when it comes to local gossip and things happening down there at the Jewel. What I would like to propose is, you may be keeping ears out and plying some individuals who come in who work for either of these companies and seeing if you can find out any information to lead to the possible culprit who attempted on my life.
Kate smiles widely and nods. As it just so happens, one of the Pinkertons that, well, actually several of them on different occasions, but one in particular happens to frequent the Jewel. He works for the butlers. I haven't seen him come in.
Mr. Sweet, right?
Oh no, a Pinkerton. A hide, I don't know what you'd call them. Muscle? A get things done sort of a man.
I understand you. Well, if he comes in often, if you could impress upon him some of your ladies to maybe learn some information, I'd be mighty grateful.
I can certainly do so. I've already put some feelers out on your behalf, anticipating that perhaps this might be something you are interested in. She thinks for a moment. I do know so many interesting things.
Well, I would love to hear about each and every one of them, but of course I am a business, and I understand that business is not one-sided. So what I'd like to ask you there, Kate, is what exactly you would like in return for such information. I understand that you want to be making this town very prosperous, bringing in the railroad, and that is something that I would also like to be having myself.
And
yes.
I'm just going to cut in just briefly. As that question is asked, the scene actually shifts to the road, and then we'll come back to you guys in a second. On the road are two riders heading towards the Dunn Manor. One is an older man with a white mustache. He's dressed more for the road, as if he was a lawman, than having a tie on and business attire. There's a small cigar in his mouth. Yeah, I get you. And he looks over to the younger man next to him as they slowly ride their horses forward. He asks, "Now, Nelson, I'm going to have to ask you again. This story's getting more confusing every time I hear it. So, if I got to go up to this well-to-do lady and give her a mouthful, I'm going to have to know exactly everything that happened from your point of view, besides you killing some Mexican in a barn."
Yeah, sir. I'm real sorry about all this, about you having to head up with me and everything. I really didn't think it was going to escalate like this.
Well, I don't know what you were thinking, really. Some laundry lady comes out with a note, tells you to skedaddle with a horse, 'cause some lady's gonna kill it. Let me tell you something, Nelson. These rich people are crazy.
Yeah, I'm starting to think you might be right on that. It's a bit... Well, I can't say I've ever been around rich people, and this is, well, setting a tone.
Well, let me tell you, all the experiences I've had with them, it ain't been too good. Look, I'm sure there's plenty of fine people out there that made their money in the mines. I mean, most of our miners are just simple people. But when you get a lot of gold and a lot of dollars in your pocket, it corrupts a man. Or a woman in this case, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I get you, sir. About the whole story. Well, like I said, start out, you remember David Boys, not that long ago. And, well, me and Lou were on the way out, right? And pretty well lost at that point. Luckily, that Mary, she happened to be riding out that way and helped us out, helped us find our way. Apparently, she knows the area pretty good. And,
Wait. You're telling me that Mary Dunn, Jessabelle Dunn's niece, was out there on the road with you when you took on them David boys?
He looks a bit downcast. Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. She made me promise to keep it quiet.
Oh,
she didn't want
Jesus
it to,
Christ, Nellie.
Is that pretty bad?
You can't be taking women out on hunts for criminals. What if she would have got hurt?
I suppose she. I mean, she seemed like she knew what she was doing. She was a good shot.
Shot? She shot somebody? She was in the gunfight, Nellie?
Yeah, she.
Oh my
She
God!
quite insisted, and yeah.
Oh my God, Nellie! God Almighty! All right, well, listen. We keep that to our damn selves.
Yeah. That's well. I think that must be why she wanted me to. I mean, like I said, I haven't been around those kind of folks. I didn't realize it was.
Well, hell,
I didn't
shit,
think
she's a
nothing of
lot
it.
smarter than you then, knowing to keep your mouth shut about something like that. I wish you wouldn't have told me.
Well, I guess I'll. I mean, I didn't plan on telling anyone else.
Oh, God, all right. Takes a long drag off his cigar, blows the smoke into the air, and just looking into the sky, shaking his head.
I think that's why she was. That Miss Dunn there. I think that might be why she was angry. I think she caught on.
Well, she might have been angry because you shot her Mexican in her barn. I'm not.
Oh well, no. That was before all that.
Before all that,
She,
she was angry even then?
Yeah. She seemed to. Well, she seemed to have found out about Mary, and she caught on to the fact that I wasn't exactly truthful. I think.
Well,
But that's and he kind of sets his horse up next to him and passes him the note again. But that's why I was wondering, because I mean, if she was so angry about it, and according to Mary, that's her horse and all.
well, it makes sense why she passed you this note now, for sure. And let me ask you, Nellie, now this is important. You and Mary Dunn, you just riding buddies, or?
Yeah, she seemed quite nice. His face is pretty plain in that regard.
You understand what I'm asking you, boy?
What do you mean?
You have carnal knowledge of this woman?
He seems quite flustered at that. His face flushes pretty quickly. Well, no, sir. There's that woman down by the bar, and I mean, I wasn't trying to. I didn't really think of that.
It's all right. I'm just asking so I got all things straight. Because if you guys are on some sort of lovers, I don't know what you call it, if you're going to elope or something, this is not. I don't need to be a part of this. Just go and do it and get out of here.
Of course not, sir. He kind of reaffirms himself, stands a bit straighter in himself. I'm dedicated to this, to being a lawman. Well, I intend to stick by it. That's why this has all been a bit distressing. I didn't think it was going to spiral like this, all out of control.
Dedicated to be a lawman. Yeah, you're denser than I thought, Nellie.
Yeah. Well, that might be true, but my nan used to tell me at least my heart's in the right place.
Well,
and the folks in the war always told me I had a good shot at least, and well,
you killed that Mexican at least. You killed a bunch of David boys. I think your shooting's pretty just fine, Nellie. Glad to have you next to me in a firefight. I wouldn't. But you got sometimes, boy, it ain't just how quick your steel is and how good your aim is. You gotta use what's in your head.
He's actually kind of has a bit of a bitter smile on his face. You know, Miss Gunderson used to tell me that kind of thing. Use my head a bit more.
Well, old Gundy and I, we shared a lot of the same sentiments. He was my deputy for 5 years, all the way since we both made our way out here, and they made a sheriff. Somebody put a pin on me, and, well, I'm as dumb as any for taking it, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, kind of gestures to the area and back towards the town. I mean, look what you made, really. I mean,
Hell.
you were part of that.
Well, I don't know. Most people were just getting drunk back then. It was enough to just calm them down. Somebody gets too drunk, grab them by the ear, stick them in the cell. Nobody really caused too much problems in the beginning. Now, with the railroad potentially coming here, shit.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I saw all kinds of trouble back east, and well, it's gonna be interesting days coming up if that railroad does come through here.
Yep. Well, alright, so we're gonna go in there and we're just gonna have a little talk. I'm just gonna see what's up the best about horse, talk to Mary Dunn, get her side of the story, get Mrs. Dunn's side of the story. We're gonna be nice and calm. You don't say anything unless you're spoken to. Don't get emotional. Let me do most of the talking. It'll be fine.
Yeah, of course. Thank you again, Mayor. It means a lot.
Alright, well, Bill's got the tough part today. He's going out and searching for that Taggart fella. Hopefully he doesn't run any trouble, but it's not been our luck lately, so hopefully he's able to round up some people to go with him. Anyway, let's get to this.
Yeah. Hopefully it can get all over with real quick.
Alright. He kicks his spurs into his horse and drives it forward a little quicker. And as they're riding up to the house, Kate is about to answer a question about what she wants. Let me switch the scene one more time.
As Jessabelle finishes her question, Kate looks at her and she says, well, let me be honest. I'm still determining if you're the person who is the right person for the job. But what a woman like me needs, not so much money, is a patron. Someone with respectability, someone to work that side of the fence. I honestly wish you had more involvement in the town. When legislation or town laws are being made, I'll be there speaking up on certain things that matter to me. There's folks out there who will oppose me simply because of my profession and who I am. I will need someone who's apparently objective from the other side to help push things along.
Jezebel takes a deep drink of her whiskey, putting it down and pursing her lips together before looking at Kate. Now, I'm perfectly fine being a patron and appearing neutral in anything that you decide to bring up, but let me just ask you, exactly who else in this town is, well, I'm going to take you seriously, for one. I mean, gestures to Kate with her hand. To be perfectly, well, crass, a lot of people just see you as the town whore. And that's all.
Kate doesn't bridle at that. Instead, she smiles like a cat looking at a bird. She said, whore, well, that's fine. I know that for some people it has a negative connotation. But for me, it just means a woman who has taken it upon herself to trade in a commodity for something else she wants. I, in the past, of course, sold my body for money. Someone might say that you did the same. But if I called you a whore, of course, I wouldn't mean no offense by it, because to me, honestly, it's a compliment.
Jezebel frowned slightly at that before eyebrows relaxed, again leaning towards Kate. Well, it's nice that you take it as a compliment, of course. And, yeah, bless your heart for doing so. But, again, I think I make the perfect person to assist in your endeavors. One, because I believe in the cause that, well, you're trying to accomplish, and I would like to assist in you trying to improve LeClaire. And honestly, it seems like getting your claws further into the town, not to mince words. In addition, well, we women have to stick together. When a man decides to come in and be part of some sort of deal, they always find a way to take over, assert their dominance, spread their legs, decide to piss all over what we women have built and make it their own. I think you don't need that. I don't need that. And that's why I think we need each other in order to succeed in what we want to do. You understand me?
Oh, I do. I was hoping that we would be like-minded on the subject, and I'm pleased to see that such is the case.
Of course.
And I'm sure you are capable of discretion, then I think this is something we can work out. She points out her dress. Part of the purpose of me coming here with such lowly looking clothes, I didn't want to attract attention to the fact that we were even having a conversation. We'll have to find other ways.
Of course. Don't think a woman like me is gonna, well, I don't mind venturing down to town from time to time as long as I have my protection. But in terms of general communication, the simple things back and forth, you met my man, Joe, I assume, considering he's the one who contacted you to bring you here. Most communications, I think, will serve through him.
Kate smirks just slightly. Yeah, I met your man. I think he'll do. He seemed remarkably loyal.
Jessa laughs at that and smiles widely. It's amazing what you can do with a man when they're highly infatuated with you. I'm sure you fully understand that.
Indeed. Did your man, Joe, inform you of his predicament?
Oh yes, I know all about most of his predicaments. In fact, trust me very well, and I understand that this predicament that he is in is quite a big one. And that's actually something else that I've been thinking on, considering the reward and considering what he's worth.
Now that is an interesting question. Is he worth more to you than the bounty that's offered on his head?
Oh, Joe is worth quite a bit to me. He's loyal after all, and loyalty is hard to find. But, and I don't say this that I want to give the boy up. That is a non-factor. But I think these Buffalo soldiers have been poking around town for too long, and I think they need to be dealt with, and think they need to be dealt with very harshly. But in the meantime, and she gestures to Kate as well in this, we might as well get a little bit of a payout from it, don't you think?
What's your idea? Because I certainly have some information about those Buffalo soldiers that you might find interesting.
Of course. But my idea, at least, of course, is to, well, offer them exactly what I want, Joe, but on the condition that we get paid up front, the full 5,000, all of it. And then we hand him over, because I can't trust no black man to be taking a man and not giving me my money. That's a big no.
Tet, is it my impression that they had the money or that they were going to turn him in for money?
It was probably your impression that, they haven't really made that known, I would say. But they are definitely passing around a bounty with, if they had the money on them, it would be surprising, probably. They could have a note to get it from the bank, however.
Gotcha. That is an interesting idea that I hadn't thought of.
Of course.
Well, perhaps we can work that in with my little information, which is that them Buffalo soldiers, they caught some heat for the trouble they riled up with the Red Man, and are aiming to head out of town to rectify the situation. Whatever they do, I don't think it's going to be easy. They're sure to take some losses, injuries. I'm certain they won't return in the condition that they left.
Well, that's great, because then we can make the bargaining deal. I am fully willing to put myself out there, saying that I finally saw the bounties for Joe. It had been quite a while. Obvious, because I did not see any when I was in town. Don't know why. Guess I didn't put up enough. But if I could confirm that I was to get some sort of note or the money when I brought him up here, we could create some sort of ambush. Maybe letting them know right when they get back this way. Have them go for Joe. And of course, even maybe putting them in their custody. As they head out, taking him out. Of course, I can play the horrified woman, them attempting to assault me if things don't fully go the way of blaming the engines on their deaths.
Of course.
Who are they gonna believe? A bunch of colored folk or a well-to-do white woman?
I like the way you think. Not only that, but I doubt they will have any reason to question the motives of a woman in your position.
Jezebel smiles, very wicked smile stretching across her face as she looks towards. Now, I did want to discuss, at least, if this were to go off, forms of payment, as, at least my reputation is being put into the most risk. Of course, I would accumulate the most wealth out of this, but I'm happily willing to offer you 2,000 of the 5 for assistance in this.
Kate raises an eyebrow. As I said, money is not my primary motivator, but 2,000 would go a long way to getting my civic center built and decorated. So,
like I said, I promote womanly aspirations, especially your own.
Very well, let's leave it at a percentage then. 2 out of 5 of whatever is recovered.
Perfectly fine with me. As long as Joe does not die in this, that is not something that I would care for.
Oh, heaven forbid. As you said, good help is hard to find. But now you've got me curious, intrigued even. Here's this man with a bounty on his head, a sordid past, and you value him so highly, you're not even concerned about your own safety. Does this man, in his criminal past, has he perhaps any help that he can provide you in this, or do you think he's going to take these men on his own?
As you ask this question, you both hear a doo 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 downstairs as somebody's rapping on the door.
Kate jumps a little bit. Are you expecting something?
You see Jezebel, just her demeanor turns from fairly friendly with Kate, just absolutely dour, as the facial expression darkens, eyebrows furrow, and lip curls slightly. She realizes Kate's there, and she puts back on that southern smile. I ain't expecting anyone, but she looks to Kate. I think that our discussion has been concluded. If I need to speak with you anymore, I'll get Joe to contact you.
Please do. There are some things that we didn't get around to that you may or may not be interested in.
Of course.
I'll have him pass it on. Oh, if whoever it is recognizes me and asks, just tell them I came to pass on my belated condolences on your father. Everyone knows how I'm out to make friends with the high-ups.
You mean my husband?
Yes, your husband. That I'm here to offer my condolences on your husband, and that I was a bit desperate in my efforts to make friends.
A few months late, but better late than never. Jessa gets up and gestures to Kate to basically go first and open the door to the office.
Kate does, and looking a little perturbed, but she just kind of shakes it off. Well, if we meet again, it should be somewhere public, perhaps at church.
Church sounds actually wonderful. If I don't see you before then, I'll see you Sunday.
There you go. It's been a pleasure, Miss Dunn.
Jezebel actually extends a gloved hand to Kate. As always, Kate. I'm appreciative of this interaction this day.
As am I. And she smiles widely and moves over to the door and opens it, looks back, leaves it open for Jezebel, and says, I'll show myself out, shall I?
Well, we're going the same way, so I'll lead you down. Jezebel picks up the front of her dress and makes her way ahead of Kate, heading down the stairs and towards the front door.
Yeah, as you head towards the front door, there's more rapping on it. You hear some muffled talking outside.
Jezebel makes her way down. And since she's in front of Kate, just her expression is just one of annoyance and anger for interrupting her meeting in the first place. She heads to the door beforehand, taking that deep breath and putting on a smile, whoever the uninvited guest could be, as she turns the knob and opens the door.
As you open the door, there's two figures standing there. You recognize absolutely immediately Nelson. What is Nelson's demeanor like there?
Yeah, he looks worried. Worried is like the best way to describe it. His face is a little bit kind of slightly downcast, a little bit furrowed. Not sure what to expect from this whole meeting, but he's here to find out the truth. Whatever that is, he's still kind of conflicted on. His kind of usual kind of orange-brown button-up shirt and a raggedy duster. His hat still on like before. Just kind of sitting there waiting, kind of a bit behind the mayor, kind of looking very deferent to him. Kind of waiting for him to answer.
Yeah, the main man standing there is a tall, older gentleman with a very thick and long white mustache with white hair parted at the side. He has ruddy cheeks. He's very slender. He's wearing a duster that looks like it's seen a lot of wear but is in good condition. You notice he is wearing a gun belt and has a gun belt or gun in the right side of his belt. He stomps his feet before the door to knock off the dust. You recognize him after a few seconds. It is the mayor. You haven't really spoken to him too much. There's been a couple meetings in the past, social occasions with your husband where you've met him. He was the sheriff before he became the mayor not so long ago. He holds his hat next to his waist in his left hand, and he nods a bit. Hello, ma'am.
Jezebel smiles widely to the Well, good afternoon there, Mayor. Apologize for the tardiness on opening the door. A bit of a change of shift. She looks up to Kate, who's probably behind her. She just says, Kate, if you'd be a dear, if you don't mind heading out.
Oh, of course. I wouldn't want to keep you from your guests. I didn't know you were expecting some. Otherwise, I would have called on you another time. Thank you so much for seeing me, Miss Dunn.
Jezebel smiles to Kate, and she looks back to the mayor, kind of very deadpan, looking. Yes, if I knew that I was having guests, I definitely would have rescheduled for you for next time, but seems I have guests.
The mayor raises an eyebrow. He's like, well, if you get a telegraph station here in your house, I can send you a wire from in town, if that would be more convenient, ma'am. He does not look like he's very interested in her back talk.
Jezebel just smiles and gestures for the mayor to enter. Please, come in.
Yeah, Kate, you can stay if you'd like. Wouldn't mind it just to be a witness. I don't like to go into widows' houses without somebody keeping eyes on it, just in case something happens.
Oh, of course, I wouldn't want Mrs. Dunn's reputation to be tarnished.
Exactly. I don't see any other servants here, so it looks like it's just us.
Would you like me to call on some Mayor Hill? Is that what you'd like?
Oh, Mr. Hill would be just fine.
Mr. Hill. She, again, very forced smile that she has for the mayor, and she gestures to the seats that she has. Please, sit down. I do love company at this time of day. And she looks to Nelson as he comes in, doesn't say anything, just stares at him as he walks in.
Yeah, the mayor just shakes it. No, that's not necessary, ma'am. We won't be here long. I'm just here up from what happened yesterday. Nelson killed one of your men in the barn, I guess. He was accosting a lady.
Oh, yes. My girl, Winnie. Damn Mexican decided to assault one of my girls. I'm very fortunate that Deputy Nelson was here. Though the one thing that I was very curious is why he was skulking around my property after he did depart.
Well, ma'am, he did receive a letter from your niece.
Oh, indeed. I did see this, well, not the letter itself, but at least the note of ownership for the horse, the apparent note of ownership for the horse. Though I am curious as to why Deputy Ward did not even bother to approach me, considering that we had just departed.
Yep, that's probably because he's a dumb son of a bitch. Sorry, my language.
Nelson blushes quite hard at that.
Oh, I do appreciate the apology, of course, Mayor. My apologies, Mister. And of course, again, I'm very appreciative of the activities that Deputy Ward had found Maxwell doing to my poor Winnie. But again, not informing me that he decided to keep on my property for one. And even if Maxwell was not attempting to defile my girl, considering the fact that it seemed like they got into some sort of argument, actually, and she turns to Deputy Ward. If you don't mind, Nellie, do you mind describing exactly what you told me last night in your interactions with Maxwell? For the mayor, of course, and for Kate.
Yeah, Nelson kind of looks to the mayor, as if to say, do you want me to go over it all again, or?
He shrugs. Well, he's told me pretty much everything that I know. Said that he went back there after receiving a note from your lady, and he went back there, found Maxwell doing what he was doing, and they got into an argument, drew steel, killed the Mexican, tried to lead the horse out. You came around, you and Bill, and had a big argument and decided to settle it today. Well, I'm here to settle it, so. Is that about right, ma'am?
Approximately. Yes, it seems that Deputy Ward has given you all the details. Though, unfortunately, it's going to be slightly hard to settle this kind of thing today. Unfortunately, it seems like said horse has been stolen, actually.
Mary Hill looks at Nelson and then back to back to Jessa.
Yeah, Nelson looks pretty confused and worried about the whole thing too.
Stolen, huh? Well, anyway, Nelson, why don't you show Miss Dunn the note you got from Mary? Where is Mary, by the way? I'd like to have a little chat with her.
You can see Jessa is straining to keep that smile of hers as she stares at Mayor Hill. She kind of grips her right hand around her left, squeezing it hard. Keep that. Well, I would love to have you talk to Mary. Unfortunately, she was the one that decided to take the horse.
Yeah, Nelson is kind of rummaging through and pulls out the note and reaches forward to pass it to Miss Dunn.
Jezebel kind of quickly whips out a hand and takes the note and starts reading it over.
Yeah, can you see it? I just shared
Oh,
it.
yeah.
As you're reading it, Mary Hill, well, I suppose that all makes sense, considering she says it's her horse. If it is her horse, I would not call that thievery.
Yes, if you would call it her horse, it would not be considered thievery. The horse is mine. She does look up from the note as she says.
Understood. Well, it does say in the note how it is marked. So I suppose we find the horse, we'll find out.
She smiles as she looks to Mr. Hill. Of course, I'll definitely find out. Though it's concerning that she decided to, of course, take the horse and abscond if it was hers in the first place, correct?
Well, the note does say that you're threatening to kill the horse, ma'am.
And she looks at the man. Understandable. Well, that's just apparently what this note says. And of course, you know, young women sometimes they decide to dream up things that we say. But is this really about the apparent death threats on a horse? Do you really have that to be concerned about, considering you got engines running around killing off your sheriffs?
Well, ma'am, those engines are just where they are, not in my town. I had a shooting out at a debutante's house last night, and then an argument between that same lady and my deputy. I don't take too kindly to my deputies fooling about in our local debutantes and well-to-do people's business, but, well, I do think that this lady, well, she might be troubled. She is a young lady. As you say, young people can do foolish and rash things. But, well, I just going to talk to her, and we'll find her, don't worry, and we'll find the horse, and we'll settle this dispute. You know, there's a piece of property in dispute, and it's not all that big of a deal.
Of course. And of course, if you find out that the horse is hers, of course she's free to keep. But it's not. And though the one thing that I would like to know, and again, I fully understand that Deputy Ward was doing a good thing by helping out my girl Winnie. But I wonder if there's any sort of repercussions, maybe, about a boy sneaking around my property. I mean, considering the fact that I do assist the town, and one thing that I was really hoping to do, Mr. Hill, is definitely support the railroad and its construction and put quite a bit of money into. But, I mean, if there's going to be deputies just wandering around my property because they suspect things because they receive a note from the help, I don't know what to do with that.
Well, he looks at Nelson. I could smack him in the head, but that wouldn't do him any favors, I don't think.
I could talk to him one-on-one if you'd like.
Oh, man. No, we're going to get going. I'm going to head back to town. Nelson's going to look for your girl. We'll settle this. Don't worry.
Well, if Nelson's looking for the girl, I think it might be opportune for me to give him maybe some insight into Mary and who she is.
Well, ma'am, I can sit right here if you want to. I don't got anywhere to be necessarily. I'd like to hear all this myself. I don't want to have to go back, have Nellie come back and tell me all this again secondhand. I guess with Gundy away, well, permanently, I guess, unfortunately, I gotta fill some shoes until Bill hits his stride. So?
Jezebel, she... Of course, but I know, Mr. Hill, you're a very busy man, and I understand you don't want Nellie to be repeating this kind of stuff to you. But I'm sure the things that I'm just going to be telling him is just to help find Mary in the first place. I mean, I am her aunt in the first place, and I do want her found, and I really don't know if you sticking around is really going to help. And I'm going to try to persuade him if I can.
Sure.
Ah, damn.
He shrugs. Well, ma'am, I'm going to just stick around and hear what you got to say. If you got anything to say to Nellie, you can say it to me. We won't be here long. If you got any idea where Mary went, be happy to hear that information so we can find her.
To be perfectly honest, I think she took that horse and I think she rode back up to her ranch. I think she's, her father's ranch, I should say. You know that he was deceased, and she's, of course, maybe suffering a little bit of hysteria herself. I think she might be missing him a little bit and has decided to, with me trying to protect her from the outsides of the world, and considering the fact that someone decided to take her out shooting the David boys, I'm sure she's fairly traumatized by it. She needs a little bit of time away.
I don't know anything about any shooting, but if she got into something like that, we'll have a talking to her.
Oh, really, really. Jessabelle looks to... So Nelly didn't tell you about the fact that he took my niece up shooting.
Oh no, he said that he got caught in a blizzard and she passed by. That's how he made her acquaintance. She pointed the track back to the cabins and the lumberjacks up there, and never their ways did meet again until, well, this note, if you count that. Isn't that right, Nelly?
Yeah, he kind of looks to Mary Hill as he starts saying that and kind of just nods. Yeah.
Well, again, I mentioned this to your mayor. Of course, do enjoy my niece being called a liar when she admits to that. But of course, Deputy Ward is telling the truth, especially when he skulks around.
Well, ma'am, aren't you calling your
course.
niece a liar? Didn't you say that she's lying about the ownership of this horse? It seems like maybe that's a pattern for her. Unless you're saying she's telling the truth about the horse.
You know what? You're right, Mayor Hill. She could be lying about the whole thing, crocking it up. Maybe she had just some fantasies about going out shooting. I mean, that's the kind of girl she is. But like I said, she's most likely up at her ranch right now. Maybe deciding to camp out, maybe in her old bedroom. Place is half burned down. You probably should get there fairly quickly. It might fall down any time.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing, weren't you, Nelson?
Yes, sir. It'd be good to find out what exactly is going on with her.
Good. Well, Nelson, I want you to apologize to Mrs. Dunn for causing a scene and a dust-up, and then we'll be on our way.
Yeah, of course. And he kind of bows his head pretty low. I really am sorry for all the trouble, Miss Dunn. It's
of course.
far more than I expected coming out here.
Of course. Apologies definitely make up for the deaths of my man. She just nods.
You mean the rapist man you had? Is that a problem, ma'am?
She looks to Mr. Hill. Look, Mr. Hill. Though he was attempting to assault my poor Winnie, and it was attempted.
Well, I'm guessing if Nelson wasn't there, he would have been succeeding. So
she just grits her teeth and smiles. Of course, Mayor. Though the one thing I would like to ask, if we can have maybe a conversation at a better time later, I would like to discuss me funding the railroad, unless it's something that you won't be wanting.
Oh, I would love to talk about that, Mrs. Dunn. You can come down to the office anytime.
Of course. You can see there's just this bitterness that's been rising up in Kate this entire conversation. She's just smiling, this very forced smile at the mayor.
Well, I think we will get on our way. Kate, thanks for sticking around and bending an ear to us, just so... Got a third party involved here. I'll probably be by, maybe tomorrow. Get a drink or two.
Oh, you're always welcome, and my ears are always at your disposal, of course. And with that, she turns to Nelson and says, "Now, Deputy, I know you've been busy, but please don't forget the task that I set you."
Yeah, of course.
Looks over to Nelson. I don't know what that would be, but I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear it.
It's just retrieving my Josephine's ashes, that's all.
Oh,
yeah.
I am
Given everything that
sorry.
happened, I told her I'd help out.
Yeah,
If you don't mind taking this outside, that'd be great if you really want to talk about this.
sure, Miss Dunn. We sure will. Thanks for, hosting us here.
Yeah, of course. I love hosting.
Well, maybe when you get some more help, you won't have to burden so much on your own shoulders. Anyway, thank you, ma'am. We'll be getting off here.
Mm-hmm.
He smacks Nelson on the shoulders and kind of grabs him around the neck and turns him to leave. Let's go, Nelson.
Yeah. And he kind of, a little bit surprised, kind of goes along, happy to get out of that situation.
Yeah, he kind of just pushes Nelson out the door as he walks. He puts his hat over his head and turns and tips it, and doesn't say anything else. Just walks out.
Kate picks up her hat, is getting ready to put it on her own head, and turns to Jessa. You see what I'm dealing with there in town? Us girls gotta stick together. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you in any way.
Oh. Anyway, you say, and she'll kind of go over to Kate, and she said, exactly what ways are you mentioning?
Well, one thing you'll need to know about me is I never get my hands dirty. She looks at him. It'll ruin my manicure, but as far as the mayor goes, I don't have anything in mind, but
personally, I'm very sure that Jezebel's making sure that both Nellie and the mayor have kind of left out of earshot at this point.
Oh yeah, they were
She's
getting on
leaning
their
very-
horses, getting ready to ride off.
Yeah, she leans very close to Kate. Don't know about you, but I really don't like a man telling me what I can and can't do and being very presumptuous. Understand me?
oh, I do. I've thought seriously about the concept of a vote of no confidence, forcing a re-election. I'm not a legal expert on these things. I'd have to consult someone who is. Otherwise, well, accidents do happen.
And engines do come to town sometimes. Terrible, terrible thing.
Oh, this is true. As for myself, I haven't made my mind up over whether the mayor's going to be more useful, alive or dead, but he certainly is a stubborn one. Not really amenable to persuasion as some other folks are.
Stubbornness is, unfortunately, a curse of many men, and sometimes I think that stubbornness needs curing, especially when it comes to positions of... And I do think that a much less stubborn individual does need to be put in power, both in the sheriff and mayor's position.
I'm not too worried about that current sheriff. Not yet. Got a bit of leverage on that fella. If something were to happen to the mayor, it would need to be accidental or untraceable.
Jezebel, again, leans very close to Kate. She puts a hand on her shoulder, just smiles very sweetly. Of course, as you said, accidents do happen.
Kate looks up at her, looking at her hair. They're kind of a height and almost mirror images of each other, and she's got a kind of strange kind of expression on her face, thoughtful, her smile kind of wavering. I don't know what this is. Is this fate? I suppose we'll see. I'll keep my ears open and I'll get my mind turning on the subject. In the meantime, you start thinking about who might be a good replacement. It was a pleasure, Mrs. Dunn.
And it was a pleasure meeting you there, Kate. And she rubs her shoulder very lightly as she takes a step back, gesturing towards the door. Anytime you wish. I do look forward to seeing you again.
Sunday, then. Sunday. Kate gives her another small, thoughtful nod, turns around, puts her hat on her head, and heads outside.
Jessa closes the door after Kate exits, and just the expression on her face, finally able to let go of the properness, let go of manufactured smiles and such. Again, her expression darkens, not being able to talk to Nellie one-on-one like she planned. Nothing about how she planned is going on. And that's when she goes and attempts to seek out, well, anyone within the house.
Yeah,
but,
I think Sticky Joe could be around, waking up, or coming in the house, or whatever, if Mike's around.
I am around.
Yeah, you're really soft, but if you wanna...
Always.
After seeing that, your woman just get a verbal beat down. Okay, go ahead. You can walk in.
Sticky is kind of waking up for the day and had dressed himself and kind of heard not a commotion, but just people talking and curious as to who it is. Gets up and finds Jessa and walks up to her. Oh, top of the morning to ya. Had visitors this early hour, did ya?
Jessa just licks her top lip. Again, her eyebrows are just furrowed. She's not hiding much from Joe in terms of emotion. She's extremely angry at this point. She just looks at him. Yes, some great unexpected guests. The mayor. And of course, the deputy who decided to kill Maxwell is back.
Oh, it takes quite a bit of balls to show up. What did they want?
They just wanted to speak to Mary and get the proper side of what exactly transpired last night with the whole horse ordeal. Of course, Mary, not being here, I sent him off to the ranch to see if they could find her. I'm really hoping she ain't there.
You still want me to go after her?
Yes, I definitely still want you to go after her, and I want you to make sure when you find her and you find Rosie, if you can, few options. Bringing them both back, tied up and alive. Because I want to make sure to get my hands on Rosie and make sure she feels the transgressions that she committed against me. Betraying me. Deciding to go off with Mary. That's just unacceptable at this point. I hope Mary comes back alive at the very least. If not, shoot them both. Blame the engines, blame the Buffalo Soldiers, blame anyone who's up there. Because at this point, I'm tired of people betraying me, Joe. Very tired.
I'm sorry that Rosie betrayed you. But I don't know if Mary did. I think she had the best intentions at heart.
Best intentions to leave me? Yeah. Yeah, no, she's gonna have to come back here as soon as possible, and I want her to make sure to know that if she ever leaves again, I will make sure to kill Ladybug, because no one else is ever gonna find that horse but me.
I'll bring her back, but I need to know that Ladybug's alive. It'll be a good bargaining chip for her.
You want to see her?
I do.
Jezebel sighs. And if she's not, Joe, what exactly are you gonna do?
Not much I can do about it if it's already too late. But I think she's young and dumb. And I think she went and did something stupid and now she's scared. We need to convince her to come back.
So you wouldn't lie for me? Is that it? You wouldn't lie for me, Joe? Jezebel walks up to Joe and puts a hand on his face.
You know I'm here for you, and you knew the promise I made to your brother. And I plan on keeping it.
Good. Because, to be perfectly honest, right now you're the only one that I can trust. And trust is hard to build nowadays.
Boy, that it is.
I'll show you where Ladybug is. I'll show you that she's alive. I want you to make sure Mary gets back, and I want you to make sure, especially if them boys that you be bringing up from the south are getting here within a day or so, I want you to make sure that Rosie suffers. I want you to make sure she feels all the pain that I experienced last night when I realized that she ran away with Mary.
Joe kind of like swallows as her hand is still on his, cheek, and kind of looks her into the eyes and doesn't break the eye contact, and finally answers, "Boy, I'll be sure she suffered."
Good, man. At this point, she's nothing more than a traitor. So no matter what you do to her, I ain't gonna be mad.
Again, Joe kind of like the long pause as he wonders what exactly she wants him to do to her, and he goes, "Oi, I'll tell you what I do to her when I get back."
Good, I'd like a full description if she ain't coming back herself.
That'll do. But I'll have to make sure that either I have her and Mary tied up, or I already have Mary sent on her way.
Hell, I want Mary Brown back here. But I'll make sure to show you Ladybug, and before you be leaving, I think you and I need a little bit of time together. You see, I'm a little bit stressed out, a little bit angry, and I need something to work out this anger right now.
Joe's kind of hesitation prior kind of goes away as a slow smile forms on his mouth as he realizes what she's implying, and so that sounds mighty fine indeed. Hopefully I can work out the kinks and get all those tight muscles relaxed for you.
Good. I don't think there's anyone else who knows where Ladybug is, so once we're finished checking on her, I'm sure there's a pile of hay we can roll in.
Indeed.
Jessa takes Joe's hand and leads him out to kind of one of the lesser kind of abandoned barns. It's probably not used now on the property, as she's been focusing mostly on the mine that she has housed Ladybug in.
Joe follows her close by and enters to see exactly the condition of Ladybug and what exactly Jessa did in her anger.
Ladybug appears to be fine. Jessa had contemplated kneecapping the horse. Knew that the horse would just make too much noise if she decided to do that. So it's just kind of locked up at the moment. It's taken care of fairly well. You're probably assuming that Jessa's actually done this herself. But overall, the horse looks healthy and uninjured.
Satisfied with what he sees in front of him, he kind of goes over to Jessa and puts his hands on his waist, and obviously that's the more important thing that is on his mind at the moment, and leads her to the hayloft.
She's kind of walking away. She just says, just maybe make sure to not look at me this time. Either I'll be closing my eyes and imagine you with a beard and red hair, or else it might put me out of the mood.
Joe is, of course, still reeling from the weak chin comment, so he kind of roughly takes her and flips her around and goes to work and takes out his frustration that way.
As Ladybug is discovered, the screen fades as Nelson and the sheriff are riding away from the manor. And we're going to do one more scene, then take like a 5-minute break, and then come back. So give me a sec. Sorry. The two are riding away, and eventually Mayor Hill brings his horse to a stop and looks over at Nelson. I don't know about you, but that was mighty uncomfortable.
Yeah, see what I mean? She seemed polite, but she's angry too. My nan was like that sometimes, but not like that.
Well, she's used to getting her way. Probably not used to anybody talking back to her. I ain't taking no lip from anybody like that. I don't care how rich they are. Too old for that shit.
Yeah, she seemed, a bit steaming with you.
Well, if it's the last woman steaming with me, I'd be mighty disappointed in myself, I guess.
Oh, well. Oh, I suppose from here, you want me to go look for Mary, right?
Yeah. He points to a small trail nearby. See that up yonder? Yeah, take that about a mile or two. That old Dunn ranch is up that way. I think she's probably right. She probably went that way. But I don't think she's got a man anymore to go riding off since you put a couple bullets in him.
Yeah, I see what you mean. All right, well, thanks again, Mayor. It's, I don't know if I would have been able to handle that.
Hell,
myself.
I ain't gonna make you go up and talk to some big shot like that by yourself, Nelson. You're a good kid. You're dumb as a box of rocks, but you're a good kid.
Thanks, I think. Yeah, well, like you and Gundy said, I'll learn in time, I guess.
Yep. Just remember, you can be the smartest fella out there. You still be in a pine box. You can just ask our friend.
Yeah, Nelson looks a bit dour at that, but nods. Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Gundy's a good man. He was a good man. He thought a lot of you, Nelson.
Nelson, his face his whole demeanor kind of breaks a bit. Did he really?
Hell. Anybody who was serving under him was just like family. You were like a black sheep nephew or something.
That's good to know. He has a very heartfelt smile on his face, kind of looking off towards the horizon. Well, I suppose he must be looking down. I best do him proud, huh? Go find that Mary.
Yep. Go find her. Figure out what the hell's going on here. I don't know what's up, but if that girl's got us on this wild goose chase for no reason, just 'cause she's sweet on you trying to give you a horse, I will be pissed.
You really think that?
Hell, I don't know. I think you look terrible, but, well.
I mean, it's not that bad. But, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't expect a lady to, throw a horse at me over at.
Well, if so, you're a lucky son of a bitch. I heard she's quite the looker. Manly, but looker.
I mean, yeah, she was quite nice. He blushes a bit.
Quite nice, huh? Oh, God help us.
Well, I mean, I really wasn't trying to do nothing about it.
Yeah, but now you are because some horse... Listen, Nelson, just do what's right. Follow your heart. Don't be stupid, though.
He has, of course, on cue, a stupid-looking smile on his face. Well, that's what I always do. Well, try, at least. Just do what's right, and... yeah.
Yeah, well, listen. Go get her. Bring her back to town. Alright? Don't take her back to the Dunn estate. I don't want that lady intimidating her.
Yeah, alright. I'll bring her straight on back to you.
Yep, we can get lawyers to look at the documents and all the assayers look at the horse and figure out what the hell's going on, so we have a third party involved. That's always the way. Get a third party involved, non-partial, and have them make the decision. That way, they can't blame you. Now, if you gotta give an elbow to the person who's making the decision so they make the right one, you do it. That way he takes his hand and brushes it on his shoulder. Just shake it off.
He smiles, kind of really taking this all in. Yeah, I see what you mean. I wish I'd thought of that before.
Well, you did the right thing, mostly. Glad you're in that barn to kill that Mexican.
Yeah, I wish I'd been able to, deal with it a bit better, but... I mean, he did seem like a bit of a foul fella.
He's a Mexican. What do you expect?
It seems like it. Alright, well, thanks again, Mayor. I'm gonna head up there and get my work done.
Alright. Remember, straight back to town. I'll see you in a couple hours.
Yep, yeah, I'll ride like the wind.
You can buy me a drink.
It's done. Well, I mean, you know what I mean.
I do. And he tips his hat, smacks Nelson on the shoulder, and rides off towards town. And as he goes, we will take... let's take 5 minutes.
Cool.
Alright.
Matt, did you know that Mary was over at her ranch?
I had no idea!
Oh my god, it's really? I was like, oh, she's trying to throw me
I
off.
was
like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, she
I
just
was.
sent it right to Mary.
I didn't believe it. I was like, oh, she's just trying to throw us off the fucking trail.
No, I scrolled up in my DM. I was like, I'm pretty sure Slip told me that's where she was going. I was like, yep.
God damn it, man.
I was like-
It's difficult.
I was like, oh, she
God.
would go to a ranch. Let's look it up. But it's fucking Mary.
She doesn't. She's like, I'm going home.
Oh my god.
God damn, I think you're smarter than this Mary. I shouldn't have thought that.
I still got some beans in that root cellar.
Oh,
I'll
for
just
fuck's
stay
sake.
there.
Jessabelle's
Eat
sitting
my
here trying to
beans out
play
of a
4D
can.
chess.
Well,
And fucking
fucking
Mary
Mary's
doesn't know
playing
there's a board.
checkers.
I'm gonna go have me a big sulk over there.
I can't believe this happened. God
Oh my
damn
god,
it.
that's great.
This all
I was
went
like, oh,
wrong.
he's gonna go there, there's gonna be nothing, but maybe he'll like pick up a trail or something.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
No, she went there. I told Tet like last week. I was like, she's gonna go back there with Rosie and eat whatever food's still left in the root cellar and camp out in the half-built barn.
Well, the good
God.
thing is, you still don't know where the horse is.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, sorry,
The
I'll be
good
right back.
part. I don't know, I thought that Mary took the horse. I guess someone else did. Holy shit.
What's hilarious is when you said where she's hiding, I'm like, just mentally like, God damn it.
Jessa was assuming that Mary was smarter than she was. I was just like, you know what? She wouldn't go to the ranch, she's trying to hide out. So she'd go somewhere else.
Well,
Let's
I
leave
mean,
the
think of
ranch.
it this way, like, you threatened to kill her horse. But you didn't. I mean, to her, it's like she's pouting. Like she still
thank
doesn't
God.
really believe that you would do it. You know, like she's a little scared for Ladybug, but she's kind of like,
This might be the best outcome, to be perfect.
I'm a grown up.
I'm a big grown up.
She can't send me to my room. I'll show her.
I mean, that's what the mayor is like basically saying. He's like, why'd you get me in this family drama, you know?
This is probably honestly the best outcome. I love just fuck.
How is this the best outcome?
I don't know, but I want it to be the best outcome for Mary.
Well, we'll see what the best outcome is when Sticky Joe finds Mary and Nelson and Rosie.
After they're banging.
God, I don't think Nelson works that fast.
I meant Joe and Jessa.
Oh.
Yeah, that now he's motivated. He's kind of like, I'm not sure, but then he's also still butthurt about the.
The
You just
thing.
expend your cheese, so I gotta
I'm
lower your
glad
wound
you did
level.
I have to. I just have to bring up the chin thing every single time.
I don't know. If you're like my SO, then the minute you get some, you're like, I got what I wanted. I can be a bastard again.
I'll be back.
Oof. Got back just in time for that. Oh, man.
Oh, man. I think Tet should have you guys roll off like a navigation type skill.
I was
when he gets
actually
back.
planning on it.
I was going to spend a couple XP. I won't spend it on that, because that's not what I was going to spend. But it's
God, yeah,
to go
Nelson.
from 0 to 1 is 3 points, right?
It is... No, it's...
Or-
I think we were doing 4,
it's 4.
right?
Yep.
4 to go from
Yeah,
0
in
to
Karajan
1.
it's different, right? So it's times... It's
So then
what
it's
rank
another
you're
4
going
for
to
cap?
times 4.
Okay.
And then plus 4 to hit cap,
Yeah,
right?
if you hit your cap, it's plus 4 on top of that.
I think I was going to do 1 thievery, because that was originally my plan for him, and then like 1 ride and I think 1 athletic.
Yeah, you don't have any 1s in those things, so you should be able to do that for a total of 12.
Sir. And I'll update that on my sheet.
Yeah. Just in your spins, just say what it was, just so I don't have to like try to figure it out.
In what now?
Just say like just when you if you just type in your bio what you spin it on.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you have the XP rewards, I'll put it
Yep,
below
exactly.
All right, let me do that.
Yeah,
real
just
quick.
so I can keep it all straight.
How did I increase? I think it was perception, then warfare. Yeah. There we go. Oh man.
I still haven't given Mary any detect lies.
Thank God.
She cannot detect a lie.
That's good news.
Good.
Yeah, I'm
Holy
digging
shit.
the mayor.
Fucking
He
fuck
is
that
like
mayor.
a stone cold motherfucker.
God damn it.
I love it. He's
though.
actually awesome. You gotta have
He's really good.
someone whose superpower is immune to the conniving redheaded women.
I know, I love it. Just like, now, fuck you. And then the fucking woman just plan on killing him afterwards.
I know. I was like, oh what?
Fuck this guy.
I was like, oh, he's the powder keg. He has like
You have.
fucking sent off the spark that ignites the entire town.
It's
And he doesn't even
true.
fucking know.
See, what's great is Sticky's theory, instead of resisting both of them, is just to go in balls deep blindly and then hope for the best.
I would say
That
make a
was Nelson's
percentile
mistake,
roll, but we already
being
did
this
that.
poor, nice, pure boy. And now he's
Obvious.
completely screwed in all the wrong ways.
Yeah, he's not like Sticky Joe, which
I really wanted to have that
Jeez.
alone time conversation. That would have
And I
gone
was like, oh
so
god,
bad
what
for
is he
Nelson.
in for?
That would have gone so bad. I was like planning it. It's like, fuck you, man.
I was like, there was that moment where like Nelson's like sitting there sweating bullets. He's like, wait a minute.
You nervous, Nelly?
She thinks he should discipline me, and now she wants to talk with me alone. He's like looking at the mayor like, help me,
Yeah, the
please.
mayor's like, why? Why
Please don't leave.
Yeah.
Have you seen my basement, Nelly?
Fuck. He has. He didn't like it. He was worried before about what the fuck he was going to find down there. He's like, oh yeah, I've got a couple of minors in my basement. You know, I was a bit irked with them.
They're
so I
under
kept them down
14.
there for a while. He's like, what? Fucking shit.
Yeah, well, maybe you need to spend some time down there, you little shit.
You want to come to my torture room?
I was planning so much for Nelly. God damn you, man!
I know.
What were you gonna do to him?
I was basically, we were gonna have a conversation about Mary, a very intimidating conversation. Then I was gonna draw my gun on him and make him walk down to the basement and tie himself up.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Keep
Nelson's
you there.
Like, that's like his
Like you were
biggest
just
fear is
gonna
someone
keep him
pulling on
there?
Well, I was gonna decide on what to do with him later.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
And then just blame the engines.
Yeah.
I had a whole plan.
Oh my God. That's the one thing where I'm like, Nelson, I think it's pretty reasonable. Nelson is like, he's not a quick draw, right? But he's like fearful. The moment he sees someone pull, he's like on edge big time. Which I mean is reasonable baseline, but also him being in the war and everything, he's very used to guns being related to someone around me is about to die. Hopefully it's not me. I have to kill them before they can get
south.
Oh, he definitely fought for the North. He's a pussy.
Yeah, he did.
Perfect. Okay. So, Nelson's pretty much on his way straight there, so he doesn't need to make a roll. Sticky, when you come out of there, are you just looking anywhere for Mary, or you have a specific idea in mind of where you're going to go?
Honestly, he would have consulted Mary with like the most logical places he would have went, or she would have went. Jessa, excuse me, and then kind of like decided from there because he doesn't know much about the terrain.
Yeah. Well, Jessa clearly wouldn't have sent you straight to the ranch, I don't believe, right?
She tried to send them there as like a way to get rid of
so-
them.
Yeah, she would have been like, go north. Like, she could be here, 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 here.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the ranch, I don't know, but I really don't think so.
It would be on the list, but he'd basically kind of visualize it in his head and decide likely scenarios and then start, circling.
Well, let's go ahead and do a probably a survival roll, and we'll see how good it is.
Does anybody have tracking? They could maybe find the mule tracks.
Oh, yeah. Maybe look at those.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that earlier, but he was like, "Oh, okay, to the ranch."
Yeah, tracking is
survival?
it would be under hunting
Looks
or
like
survival.
survival,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do have survival.
Yeah.
Alright, let me start my recording back up hell. Alright, there we go.
Okay, that's a success. All right.
Great,
Okay.
great.
So Joe is out on the road looking at this point. It's still in the morning. Let me switch the scene. Nelson, you don't have much problem finding this area. You see it from a
I assume it
distance.
was pretty straight down that path, I
Yeah,
assume.
more or less. Okay, so let me get this all kind of. In a partially rebuilt barn, Mary Dunn sits in the corner, her head pounding, her stomach rolling from the whiskey that she had drank the night before, saddened by everything that was going on. Her last real memory is writing the note and passing it to Rosie. After that, it's all a blur. She woke up this morning vaguely remembering talking to Rosie in the middle of the night. Rosie had said something about shooting in the barn with Nelson. That's all she really knew at this point. Rosie was seated on the other side of the barn, looking at Mary, a plate in her hand. She looks over to Mary and finally gets up, bringing it over. Girl, you should eat. Here's some beans.
Mary had wrinkled her nose at the thought of eating, but then she sees the plate of beans and her expression brightens. Oh, girl, how'd you know? Did you find those in the cellar?
That's about all that was down there.
Yeah, we did keep a good supply in there. Well, thanks. Ugh. My stomach isn't feeling too good, but I know once you put something in it, sometimes you feel better.
Sometimes. I don't know much about beans. It's not the decor that Miss Jessa would have liked to eat.
Oh, I do know that. It's been a while. And she takes that and starts digging in. Starts kind of talking with her mouth full. So, looks like mostly done with the barn. That's good. Hey, I don't really remember much about last night. There was something about a shooting in the barn and Nelson? Is he okay?
I don't know. When I heard the shooting, I didn't know what was happening. I thought it might have been something... Well, I have to be honest. I took a look at your note.
Mary looks a little bit displeased at that, but then she just kind of nods. Well, I guess I can't blame you. I did ask you for the favor. Yeah, I don't know what to think. One minute Aunt Jess is all sugar and sweetness, and then she's threatening to kill Ladybug. I know she says she wants what's best for me and that she's got these plans, and maybe she was just frustrated, but that just seems out of line.
Uh-huh. She just kind of nods and pushes the plate away from her into Mary's hand fully, and then moves back and sits back down where she was and takes a spoon and puts it on her plate. I think that your aunt is quite capable of killing a horse.
You really think so? She does love horses.
She only loves Buttercup.
Yeah. Buttercup's a nice horse, but that can't hold a candle to my Ladybug. So you think... Oh, darn it. You think she's killed Ladybug?
She gives a slight shrug. I don't know. I don't know what happened last night. All I know, there was shooting.
I do wonder what that was about. One thing I can tell you, though, is I got no plans of going back. I can camp out here, well, all summer into the fall, and by then, this barn will be ready, house should be fixed. I don't know where I'm going to get any money, but I'll have a roof over my head. Reckon I can hunt some rabbits.
Rosie, just her eyes are pretty wide. She ain't gonna let you stay out here all summer.
What's she gonna do? This is my land. I'm a grown woman.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can believe that if you want. I'm gonna get out of town personally.
You're leaving?
Far away as I can go. Denver, maybe. Albuquerque, I don't know. Somewhere.
You got any family?
I got some. I think I'll leave my destination a bit up in the air.
Oh, well. Reckon I'll miss you. About the only person I really have had to talk to. You don't think Aunt Jessa would be taking you back, I reckon?
To a shallow grave, maybe. She's good at making those. Takes another bite.
Mary cocks her head to the side. I don't follow.
She looks down into the plate and takes another bite, considering what to say. Just not a very nice person, Mary.
Oh. Well, I have seen her temper flare from time to time. Not usually with me. She is rather short with all y'all helping around the house.
Well, she's not much of a nice lady, like I said. It's not just to the help. There's plenty of wealthy folk that aren't very nice to the help. That I can almost understand. That's just their nature. But Mary, she's evil.
At that, Mary's, metal spoon just kind of clatters to the plate. Her mouth drops open. Rosie, that's quite an accusation. Evil, you say?
Pretty evil. Listen, Mary, I know you love this place and you love Ladybug, but why don't you come with me? We can get far away from here.
Mary looks around at the sky that's still visible above the half-built roof of the barn. The mountains that are just peeking in the distance. Rosie, why would I ever want to leave this place? This is my home.
She frowns, and 'cause right now Jess is here too. Like a cancer. Spreading everywhere. She's just getting started, girl.
Mary looks really upset and she sets down her plate. Part of me don't like you talking about her that way, but with her recent behavior, I reckon I don't have it in me to oppose. I wish I understood what provoked such strong feelings.
Control. Just control. Nothing else. Just being bad-tempered. Control.
She do seem to like to keep everything under her thumb.
That's what I'm saying.
I figure some people...
That's what I'm saying, Mary. She ain't gonna let you live here. That's a slight to her power. She'll come here and burn this place to the ground before she lets you do that. Just like she would kill Ladybug.
Well, nature already beat her to it, but you really think she'd burn my ranch down just to bring me back? I don't know whether to be flattered or frightened.
It doesn't have much to do with you, Mary, besides she probably thinks she can marry you off, but really it's just meanness.
Mary frowns at this. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I like that Preston boy fine, but once a girl gets hitched, she gives up so much. Not just her name, just... I can't imagine belly all fat with some baby, and who knows, he might try to haul me off to Boston.
You might be better if you did. Honestly, you might be better if you did marry that Preston boy. Get you some protection.
Oh. You really think I need protection from Aunt Jessa? I mean, I know she caught me by the hair the other day, and that was just because I weren't expecting it. She couldn't take me. She's a tiny thing.
Slit your throat in your sleep if she had to. Be my guess. Look, Mary, I don't want to get in your business and tell you a bunch of things that get you all worked up. Because I don't want you to do something stupid. So listen, I suggest a couple things. Come with me. We'll get out of here. But if you ain't going to do that, you need to stay away from your Aunt Jessa. If that means marrying a Preston boy, or marrying a lawman, or marrying the mayor, I don't know what it means. But you gotta stay away from her. Far away from her.
Rosie looks down the ground and stands up, brushes off her legs, walks around a little bit looking at the sky. Why is it that safety and happiness for a woman always has to involve marrying some man?
She takes a deep breath and... Well, because when you stay unwed, you end up like me. What can I do for a wage? I can be a whore or be a maid.
Oh, Rosie. Well, if I had any paper, I sure would write you a letter of recommendation. I owe you some.
She just kind of laughs. Oh, sweet darling, I don't want that. I want you to come with me. Come on. Let's get out of here before it turns rough. Then, I got something I can tell you. And then maybe we can do something about it. But I don't want to do it here. For many reasons. Come with me to Denver. Or Albuquerque. Wherever I'm going. I'm not saying. Kansas City. Somewhere. Come on.
Rosie, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me, but I can't go. I promised my father on his grave that I'd bring this place to life, that I'd fulfill his dream. I can't go back on that.
Mary, sweet girl, Jessa will never let you fulfill anybody's dream, let alone your own. The only dream you will be fulfilling is hers.
Maybe you're right. But I think this is something I'm going to have to figure out on my own. If I just turned tail and ran, I couldn't respect myself. I mean, obviously you got your reasons, but only reasons I got are some ominous warnings from you and her recent temper tantrum. Look, I really wish I had some way to help you, and I do plan to get this place going. When you get to where you're going and you get settled, you send me a letter. And once I get enough money to scraped up, oh hell, maybe I'll marry that Preston boy. Then I'll send some over so that you can get yourself started, whatever your dream is.
I haven't had a dream for a long time, Mary Dunn. Once I'm out of here, you never hear from me again. I just worry about you.
Shit. Her eyes start to tear up a little bit. Oh, why you gotta be that way, Rosie?
'Cause I don't want to be
Don't
dead.
say-
I don't want to be dead like your uncle and your dad. And she catches herself and grits her teeth.
Well, yeah, that was tragic, but everybody's gotta go sometime.
She stands up and finally takes off her apron and Just tosses it to the side. Alright, Mary. Look at me, girl. I need to tell you something. Now, this is what I've been trying not to tell you, actually, because I don't want you to do anything stupid. Look, you're a sweet girl, and you have some wits about you in certain things, but let's not kid ourselves. You're kind of emotional and not really very savvy.
Well, savvy about horses.
Yeah, about horses, girl, but not about people.
Well, I gotta admit, it's been said before.
Look, it's not me criticizing you. I'm just telling you what I see. Alright. Listen. I'm pretty sure that your Aunt Jessa, well, I'm pretty sure that she has something to do with your uncle and your pa's passing.
Mary, who'd been pacing around, again just turns. She stops in her tracks, like her entire posture stiffens. What? That's not possible.
Mary, I don't know the details, but think about it. Jess is now the one in charge. She wants to be in charge. She didn't like your uncle. She likes men like that Sticky Joe.
Well, Uncle was
Fat.
not very... Yeah, I wasn't gonna speak ill of the dead, but I don't know. She seemed so broken up when he passed.
She's a pretty good liar. Trust me. I know. I don't know. I don't have any evidence. And I really don't want to go telling people in charge because I want to get out of here. I don't want to get killed. If she's willing to kill her husband and your father, she'll kill me in a second flat.
Mary just starts shaking her head. She crosses her arms across her chest and protectively, almost as if she's trying to create a barrier between herself and the words that Rosie's speaking. I don't know if I can believe this, but God damn it, Rosie. If you really think you're in danger, then you should go. You shouldn't sit here eating beans with me.
That's gonna make sure you're okay. Like I say, I'm going. My conscience is clear now as it can be. Seen her do some pretty terrible things, Mary. Things I know about. This is just conjecture, but if I know Jessa, that's what happened. And as you're talking in the barn, you actually, there's a shadow that gets cast over one of the basically the outside of the door leading to the barn. Somebody's riding up.
Oh shit, Rosie. Let me check on that. Nah, with that, Mary picks the rifle up off the ground.
There is no rifle.
Rosie didn't bring her rifle. What's wrong with that woman?
She didn't. Took no weapons with her.
So Mary doesn't have any. All right. She'll still tell Mary, you go hide. I'll go check on this.
She goes to hide. She tucks herself in a stall, and you look out the door and you see, thankfully, probably, Nelson riding up.
Does Nelson see her?
As she peeks out, I'm sure you probably would, unless she's trying to be really sneaky.
No, she's
Yeah.
not. She was gonna try to confront whoever it was.
Yeah, he sees her kind of peek out. And is actually pretty surprised. He wasn't sure what to expect, but her just popping out like that. Hell, is Mary?
Oh, Nelson. And she comes out and posture,
He hops off his
just
horse.
showing obvious relief. You see a mule grazing over by the barn. She takes, large, excited strides towards you. Oh, so good to see you. Did you get my ladybug?
Yeah, he looks kind of surprised at her kind of fluffy demeanor, and then that. Well, hell, I was hoping you had her.
What? No. Rosie brought me here on that mule.
Rosie, at this
His
point,
whole face
yeah,
kind
she walks out and peeks out behind Mary, and she says, "Oh God, I'm thankful it's you, Nelson, not Jess's new
Oh,
hired killer."
ma'am, I did I get your name before?
Rosie. My name's Rosie.
Well, I suppose it's good to meet you proper, Rosie. Yeah, it was an ordeal yesterday. I was sent out. The mayor, he's helping with the sheriff and everything. I came out to look for you. Miss Dunn, she said you took the horse.
What?
Yeah, she says
No.
it's hers.
What? No! That horse, that's the last of my pa's stock. That's a registered apple saddle. It's the first of its breed. My pa traded for that Appaloosa that it got bred from. It's one of a kind. It's registered.
Rosie looks over to Mary. Girl, if that horse ain't there, she's done taking it in the back and shot it.
Yeah, Nelson's hand grips pretty tight to his duster. Damn it. I knew something was up there.
Mary looks at Rosie and she starts to shake her head and shaking it over and over, and her eyes are starting to water. She wouldn't really. I'm sure Ladybug's fine.
Mary, she would do anything. A horse is nothing.
That can't be. And she just starts to cry.
Rosie
Yeah, Nelson.
puts a hand on Mary's shoulder and then turns to Nelson as he's about to speak. Good.
Oh, hell. If I knew it was going to turn into this, I mean... Oh. I'm sorry, Mary. I tried to get the horse out, but that damn Mexican fella, he got in the way and, well, turned into a whole mess.
Oh, Rosie said she heard shots. I was worried about you.
Yeah, well, I tried to get the horse out of there, but the damn fella, he can't read, wouldn't go along. He was trying to get me back to your aunt, and, well, if what the letter said was true, I was worried, where she'd find out about what you wanted, and I wasn't really sure what to do.
Rosie just walks up and grabs Nelson by the duster. Listen, quiet now. You have to protect Mary from Jessa. Do you understand? This is not some little
lady.
squabble. This is not just Mary being impetuous and running away. Jessa's dangerous. She'll kill Mary if she feels like it. She's killed before.
Nelson goes a bit pale. You really mean that, huh?
She's crazy. I know it.
I mean, she did seem, hostile and everything.
No, listen
But,
to me.
you really...
She's crazy. She'll kill anybody who gets in her way. Does anything against what she says.
Nelson pulls his hat off. Shit, the mayor's goddamn right. All these rich people.
It ain't that.
Oh, the hell have I
that.
gotten
She
into?
ain't doing it for money. Sure, money's a side effect. She just wants everybody to be under her thumb. She wants the power. If she's got the power, she's happy. But this I know is making her stew. This is not going the way she wants. She's gonna have blood on the mind. And she nods to Nelson. She's like, and you're probably first. And her
He was like kind of really taken in, and then he sees that. What do you mean? You think she's gonna come for me?
Oh, she won't come at you directly unless she's behind you with her bullwhip. Maybe. She'll send that boy that came up from Texas. The one those Buffalo Soldiers want. Joe.
But Rosie, he stuck up for me. He's the only... He convinced Jessa not to kill Ladybug. I know he's got a sordid past. I did kind of overhear some of that, but...
I don't know.
I think he's got some decency to him.
I don't know. I can tell you that they're lining rut together.
And Mary takes a minute to digest that, like the meaning of that. Like she doesn't know what it means for a second, and then she just looks shocked. But my Aunt Jess is a respectable woman.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I've told you all this and I can't get through to you now, Mary, I never will.
Oh, Nelson, she was telling me this, but I just don't know what to believe, and damn it, even if it's true, I ain't leaving. This is my home. But I am glad you're here, and I am glad you're all right, and I am so sorry for getting you involved.
Nelson kind of shakes his head, his hat kind of still to his side, almost crumpled a bit under his grip. No, this... He kind of steels his eyes a bit. This seems like something important. I'm damn glad I stumbled on it. Whatever's going on, if she's looking to kill people, if you really mean that, ma'am, then, well, hell. The mayor was talking, get you back, get some lawyers and stuff set up in case it was your horse and everything. And the horse is not here. I mean, where else could it be?
It's probably dead.
Well, stop it, Rosie. I can't think about that right now. Listen, Nelson, I'm a capable person. You saw that. I'm going to ask you right now to leave me with one of your guns and take Rosie out of here. She ain't like me. She feels like she's in danger, and I don't know if that's true, but I owe it to her to take her at her word on that and try to help her get out of town. Do you think you can get her out of town? Or at least get her to town?
No. I think I got a better way to deal with all this. What you're both saying is true. And she's already crossed some lines, or she plans to at least. Let's get you both back to town. The mayor's already wondering about what's going on, and he's looking to get some lawyers on our side.
Rosie's shaking her head. No. I am leaving town. I am getting out of here. Jessa will do nothing. The mayor, he might be a good man, but she'll kill him too. She'll kill this whole town, burn it to the ground if she has to. We need to get out of here. Nelson and Mary, give me a perception roll. Joe, give me a stealth roll.
Oh my. This is the thing that Nelson upgraded. Hopefully it was worth it. Last time, man.
Give me 1 second to find where stealth is. There
Oh, fuck, it was!
Because he ain't stealthy, don't worry.
Nelson, she's in the middle of talking, and you hear this clip clop and thud and you kind of look over your shoulder and you see somebody hopping off a horse in the brambles a bit away. Looks like he's trying to tuck himself behind a tree.
Yeah, Nelson pulls his pistol.
You're pretty far away.
Well, if you get back. Yeah, after this, and her mentioning some guy that is being hunted by the Buffalo Soldiers and everything, which he's already kind of heard about now. Apparently that person working for her, blah, blah, blah. He's now a bit on edge. Here, and he hands Mary the reins to his horse. My rifle's on the saddle, just in case. You both get in the house now.
Mary kind of gestures with her chin at Rosie, like that, gesturing toward the house, and Mary starts, ruffling through the saddle trying to get the rifle.
Yeah, Mary
she's also looking for cover.
Mary doesn't take too much convincing. She's inside pretty quickly. You're kind of in the corner of the barn there. You can peek around the corner there and have decent cover.
Yeah, Nelson kind of sticks relatively close to it, having learned his lesson multiple times over now. And calls out, "Who's there? You riding up and trying to hide? I don't know what's going on, but you best show yourself."
What range would you say we're at?
Long. Long even for the rifles.
Okay. And Rosie went into the house. Yeah, she's... Nelson and Mary are outside.
They're barely visible, though.
I think we're probably kind of backing... At least Mary's backing a little bit into the barn.
It would be a shot. It would be almost an impossible shot for you.
Nelson's sticking pretty close
for anybody, really. It would be pretty impossible for anybody to shoot anybody at this range and this cover. Both of you have extreme cover and long range, even for the rifles. So
Mary shouts out, "Joe, if that's you, put down your weapon and come up here. We got things to talk about."
He kind of shouts back, "Oh, I don't think I'll be coming down there. Why don't you come and talk to me, Mary? I promise. I'm not here to hurt you."
"Well, then why you got that gun?" I mean, is he aiming it or is it still holstered? What's the deal?
He's got a rifle out, so I mean, he's got a rifle. He's not like aiming it at you. He was more getting off to the side into cover.
He's definitely acting peculiar, like he's trying to sneak up on you. That much is for sure.
Yeah, Nelson's pretty on point with that. He's not having none of it now. After everything's just been going on, he's a bit paranoid even. And now, I don't know what's going on, but I heard about you working for that Miss Dunn up there.
I don't want to hear shit from those horse feet.
Horse thief? Goddamn. I've already heard everything from Mary. If what she's saying true, then Miss Dunn's already caused some problems. And I'm a damn deputy, not a horse thief.
Well, you look like the same from here. Mary, why don't you come on over?
He ain't no thief. I wrote him that note for Ladybug. I ain't gonna come out with you until you put down your rifle. You put down your rifle, I'll put down mine, and then we can talk. I told Nelson that I thought you weren't all bad. You helped me out with Ladybug before. That's got you, well, some measure of credibility with me.
I'll make you a deal. I'll holster my rifle on the saddle. You come over here and talk to me.
Nelson kind of looks to Mary and shakes his head. Nah, sir. As far as I see, you are coming up hostile from the look of it. I don't know why you'd be sneaking around here. So you come on up, and we can talk this out.
I don't recall fucking talking to you, boy. Why don't you shut your mouth while I'm talking to Mary?
Sir, if what it's saying is true, and those
Which
Buffalo
partner
soldiers are
shut
after
your
you,
fucking
then
mouth?
you need to be
Don't you
coming in
understand?
anyway. What'd he say?
He said, which part is shutting the fuck up? Didn't you understand, boy? Can't you understand the word I'm saying?
Nelson seems pretty irked by that. Mary, I don't think this is going to go well. And by this point now, he's like tied up to the barn, ready to do whatever needs to be done.
Mary, I promise you, Ladybug's alive. You come up and talk to me now.
Nelson definitely wants to try and discern that's true. I mean, I assume he doesn't really need to.
You can just test detect lies, and then we'll see.
See whether he
Joe,
can gauge
can
it.
you roll perception for me? You have no idea.
Not exactly the most. Yeah, he's not trusting anything
Joe,
at this point.
Joe, you do see that somebody's riding on a mule, you think, kind of away from the barn.
And there's a mule, and then Nelson has his horse.
Yeah. There's you only see Nelson's horse just hitched kind of outside.
I assume Nelson hasn't noticed any of this. I assume it's probably on the other side of the barn.
I'll whisper you because it's clear to you.
Okay. Ooh. Yeah, Nelson seems kind of surprised, but a bit preoccupied. He's not too worried about a lone woman riding off. So,
yeah, it's fine.
But,
yeah.
But yeah, I think that was. But yeah, he's kind of sticking to the situation. Now, sir, I'll give you one more chance. Because as far as I'm concerned, we can sit and wait if you need to be like that. But as far as I'm concerned, you need to either come up here or ride off.
And did Joe see Rosie riding off?
Yeah, you did. Mm-hmm.
Okay. He kind of hollers back to Nelson. That's fine. Why don't you all three go inside and relax a bit? I'll be staying here for a bit, pretending not to see Rosie riding off on him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Mary knows that Rosie. Did she?
Yeah.
Was she gone?
No, it was when you gave her the reins to the horse. She
okay.
took off. Yeah.
Does she seem like she's getting pretty good ground, or?
Mary, oh gosh, she's not stupid. She's just really bad at detecting lies. I don't know what she'd make of this, but I think she'd try to cover Rosie's retreat, whether or not she knows Joe noticed it.
Yeah, she's not much of a rider.
Basically, Sticky's going to go to the horse and circle wide and go after Rosie. And Matt, you tell me if I'm wrong, she's probably warned the bigger problem of the two. If not, then he'll...
Mm-hmm. Rosie is definitely the bigger problem.
Gonna hurries over his horse, just mumbling, Jesus Christ, and gets on his horse and circles wide and goes into a full gallop after Rosie.
Mary looks at Nelson. Oh, you think he's going after Rosie?
I mean, what the hell do you think? If what you were saying was true and what she was saying...
Oh,
Nelson
fuck.
kind of runs over and hops on his horse. Get on.
Oh, damn it. All right. And she climbs up behind him.
I'm trusting you a good shot with a rifle, so if you gotta, do it. And Nelson will start heading off swift after Rosie as well. Kind of aiming to kind of keep to as close to brush and such like that, so that Sticky Joe doesn't have as good a shot if he aims our way.
Yeah, Joe, as you're kind of rounding, I'm going to change this, but as you're rounding, they were much closer, so they've kind of got in front of you, and you see them kind of riding off to catch her as you're kind of trying to swing around and get there. 1 second, guys. Let me get everybody in place.
Oh, that makes me think, actually. Nelson,
That's not right.
thinking about it now. It's not been all that long since he separated off from the area, is it?
Not too long. A couple of miles back. Hold on, I've got to fix
I
something.
imagine this kind of big open space a gunshot would carry for pretty far.
Maybe, but gunshots not that uncommon, you know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to fix something. I don't know what's going on. There.
The memes and discard Christ.
Jesus Christ.
It's exactly Nelson every day of his life. Oh man.
So I am just. You can see now,
Oh
right?
man. I can.
Let me get the lady out.
Poor Rosie.
Yeah. All right, so you guys are closer to Rosie than Joe is. Joe, you can clearly see them gaining on Rosie.
Yeah, Nelson actually shouts out, Rosie, you start heading for town. That's gonna be the safe place for you. I'll cover you.
She begins to try to gallop hard on the horse. Well.
Yep, Nelson tries to keep a pace, a bit of distance, but no, man, Rosie.
Rosie actually, she's on the the mule, and she doesn't look like she's probably ever really ridden before, and she goes toppling off the mule.
Oh shit. Yeah, Nelson surprised by this. All right, Mary, I'm gonna get up there and drop you, and I'll ride for him. You get that on that damn mule, and you both ride towards town. All right?
As they're talking, what's Sticky doing? Is he actually still trying to catch up with Rosie, or?
Well, as soon as Rosie fell off the horse, are they like up by
Not
her?
quite yet.
Or
Not
they,
quite yet, but she had a little bit of
definitely
head
seems
start.
like he's trying to.
So
speed
it's
towards her,
essentially they're more or less in front of you, and she's in back of them, right? You could, as you're trying to circle, they kind of went directly towards her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just didn't have time to get around. So that's what you're looking at, more or less. Here, let me do a more tactical view. Oh Lord.
Every time. Every situation Nelson gets into escalates. One way or another. Poor lad's cursed.
Mary will try a dismount from this horse as quickly as she can. Maybe not even wait for it to stop.
Yeah. So
For the moment,
what
we're
is
at the battle
what
map.
is Joe doing? Are you there, Joe?
Joe's kind of pull up his horse from the gallop that it was at, and slow down. I'm assuming during galloping he couldn't really have his rifle out and about.
There is,
so.
you just have a super bad negative to if you tried to shoot with it, but you probably would have it. You probably would either have it in one hand or you'd have it holstered on your saddlebags or whatever it would be.
I probably would have. He would have put it on the saddlebags or wherever, and he kind of thinks and analyzes the situation and realizes it's fucking tits up, and he slows his horse down as he's going to him. He goes, "For fuck's sakes, who said anything about me trying to kill you? I just need to talk to Mary. I saw this one running off. She needs to go back and answer to Jessa for what she did."
She's
Go ahead.
She's a woman grown. She can leave town if she wants to. And I think that's what she's going to do. Rosie, get off that damn mule and just start walking. Or running, whatever you feel like. Mary hops down off the horse.
Rosie.
All right,
She looks back and she looks forward and she just yells out to Joe. She's like, "You think you're gonna?" She's very out of breath. "You think she'll kill you too in the end, Joe?"
Dun, dun, dun.
You're just a dumb bitch who doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about.
I know the most about that conniving snake in the grass that Satan spawned than anybody.
You're jealous of her. You're jealous that she's better than you in every way imaginable. Now you're bitter, spreading your lies.
While they're talking, Mary's actually going to start walking toward Joe.
Yeah.
Her rifle's in her hand, but she doesn't have it necessarily aimed at him.
Rosie is concerned, so she's getting cover and moving away, but not where Joe could ride around. Actually, she probably isn't that smart. She is backpedaling and starts kind of moving away down the road, the trail.
What'd she do, Mary? Did she tell you she killed a ladybug?
Well, she told me that she probably did. She didn't see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Nelson by this point, after like hearing the whole thing about she needs to go and see Jessabelle for what she's done and stuff like that. I mean, the implications there. Nelson is not really wasting any time. As far as he's concerned, this guy's wanted anyway, and given the fact that he's like following after and giving chase, yeah, Nelson's all in. And now seeing Mary start to progress, damn it, Mary, get on the damn mule. And he starts a full charge, kind of trying to evade like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the horse, trying to advance on him.
Mary looks at Nelson and then looks over at Joe. Damn it, Joe, get out of here. Just get.
I can't do that, and I told you I needed to talk to you. Now tell this dumb bastard here to go mind his business. I promised you nothing would be happening to Ladybug, and I've kept that promise.
Oh, damn it. Nelson.
Yeah, he's a full gallop, heading straight, pretty much straight for him.
Let's do initiative then. Let me make sure it's clear and everything. It is clear. Go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh yeah, it's combat, isn't it? There we go. Come on, Nelson, don't fuck it up. You're already moving.
What the heck?
No. Oh shit. He's on point. Like always. Fuck. Oh my gosh. Nelson's all riled up.
Alright. Nelson, you see he's about to go forward, but you guys act before he does. Sticky, it looks like Nelson you see him dig his spurs into the horse as if he's coming straight towards you. You're about 20 feet away, or units, we'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Sticky Joe kind of aims his... What did we decide he had?
He has rifle, but he doesn't have it out.
He'll pull his pistol out and point it at Nelson. I said, you stay the fuck away from me.
Alright, so that's...
Yeah, Nelson already had his drawn and is quite at pace.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna... What are you doing? You're drawing your weapon slowly, normally, fast? What?
Yeah, he already had his pistol out. What is it, 12 for a fast draw?
It's 11. Athletics 11.
God, no matter how this ends, Nelson's fucked. He's gonna have the two scariest people in the world out for him. If he does survive. If he does survive. If not, he's fucking dead.
It's 2v1 right now.
True, true.
I feel like
He's got Mary with the rifle. That's pretty good odds. As far as he's
And you
concerned.
need to make a well, no, we'll just do the interact.
Yeah, he'll pull his pistol normally, and then kind of like try and duck behind the head of his horse, because who cares if a horse dies?
So he draws his pistol. Mary, what do you do?
She starts cursing to herself, and she wants to move off of the road.
Mm-hmm.
How long would it take her to get to these rocks?
Let's see. Oh, let me throw the hexes down. I'm just gonna move you kind of on the hexes, kind of where you were before. Yeah. Right there. So let's see. It would to those rocks. That's just three AP to get in there.
All right, she's gonna.
It's a bit of a divot
move over
right?
there.
It's kind of lower.
Right, and she's really doesn't want to kill Joe because he's spoken up for her a couple times, but she for sure does not want Nelson to die. I think she's gonna aim.
Yep. Oh, you moved already,
And-
so it's now it would be Nelson's turn because you moved your
Okay,
3,
well-
right? So
Okay.
yeah. Nelson, so you're charging on your horse, I'm guessing.
Yeah. He was gonna kind of go in once he's close enough for a decent
movement,
shot.
Movement
yeah.
while on a mount still requires the character spend AP as normal. However, the hexes units the mount can move is almost certainly greater than the base 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 for run. These ratios are notated on the mount in question. So I think a horse is usually 3. So a typical horse moves at 2. Sorry. This means that if a character uses the move action, he spends 3 AP. He can move 6 hexes. So.
Alrighty. Can you set up so I can see the AP on there?
Shit. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, it's no problem. I just figured that'll be quicker.
Yeah, definitely.
Asking.
It's just I thought. Okay. I gotta fix that. Yeah, you're correct, but they weren't. Okay, so you can see everybody now, I'm guessing.
I can see the bar. It doesn't list any numbers.
Yeah, I can only see.
Okay. So visible to everyone.
Ah, there you go. That worked on Mary.
Yeah.
Oh man, Nelson. Fuck's
That's
sake.
not the right one. You should be able to see everybody now. Oh, no, to everyone. Okay.
Yeah, I can't see Nelson.
Ah, there we go.
You can't see Nelson?
I can see. Well, maybe you haven't put action points.
Oh, yeah, he has no action
Oh, yeah,
points
he
yet.
doesn't.
He hasn't done anything yet.
He's not used that yet. Yeah, so he could. So if he moves up, right? Because he's already charged forward, so that would be 1, right?
Correct.
And what kind of range is he at then?
For a pistol? Let's
Yeah.
see.
Imagine it's still a ways off.
A 16. Let me look at the range bands real quick. I think that is actually just in medium. Medium is, yep, that would be, no, so pistol's 8, so 12, so that's long range.
Okay. And he's also on a minus for shooting on the horse,
Yeah,
right?
shooting on a horse with a one-handed weapon is... Bear with me.
It's no problem.
Oh, crap. I really wish I need to just PDF this thing and have bookmarks. Let's see. Mounted combat. One-handed ranged is sorry, hold on.
I think it'd be. Well, actually, it's either.
Do you have one in ride? Okay.
He does.
Um,
I'm so glad I did it.
so go ahead and give me a ride check.
Okay. Is this to shoot or just for?
This would be
to see how
shoot.
the aim is. Oh yeah. Given I imagine he has a good idea on the range of these pistols and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't exactly want to charge all the way in and give this guy a better shot himself. He's starting to learn. So let me see. That's still. He could get to there. Oh, that's draw. Oops. Sorry, I'm like, why is it not showing me the range? That explains it. So that's actually one off more.
Actually, hold on. Yeah, go ahead. You don't need to roll that though.
So that's one, and he can do all this in one thing as one move, right?
You have to move, then do something else. I mean, you can move as many as
Yeah, he's not looking to do anything else.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can
just
move.
like if he moves like four,
Yeah,
that's all
fine.
one. Okay, cool. So yeah, then what he's gonna do is he moves up those two, and then 1, 2, 3, 2 more to put him at 3. Kind of aiming to circle a bit. Kind of trying to pincer maneuver around Joe. Kind of trying to hopefully lure him towards Rosie, depending on how it goes, and then, entrap him between him and Mary.
How many hexes did you move?
I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total. So 3.
Okay. All right. Joe, it is your turn as he begins riding off there.
So let's see. Let's range check that. That's what, long for a pistol?
That's definitely long for a pistol. It's corner to corner, but still.
He kind of thinks about it, and he doesn't trust Mary enough not to shoot him, and this Nelson guy is definitely a problem child. Do I get any cover from the horse before I decide that?
Well, if they miss, they could hit the horse.
That's an interesting idea.
Right.
And you aren't moving, so you actually, as long as you're not moving on a horse, you get no penalty for a pistol.
Yeah, I understand that part because I'm not galloping or anything. Joe, as much as he understands that Jessa will not be happy, he understands suicide when he sees it. And let's see here. Sorry, I'm reading the PDF too.
It's all good.
It's been a while since I wrote these. Essentially, basically, it boils down to if you're not, as far as shooting goes, if you're not moving, there's no penalty, even with a rifle or a pistol. If you are moving with a pistol, you take a -3 pre-roll modifier. If you have a rifle and you're moving, you take a -5 pre-roll modifier. If you're in running mode, you get a penalty as run, which is usually -5 at the end of the run, right? So it would be -10 for run, -15 for a rifle. So if you're galloping, if you're cantering or something, it's just -3 or -5.
And then if you like gallop the horse, it's how many times normal movement?
If you're doing a move, quote unquote, it's
Yeah.
3 times. It's times 2 basically. It's based on the mount. So you can move up to, say if you spent
10
if
hexes.
you wanted to move 10 hexes, that would cost 5 AP.
Well, Joe hates to be doing this, but he's going to turn tail because he knows he has reinforcements coming. I think he's going to turn backwards and gallop away and do a 5 action point.
I mean, you can do a run too, which will get you, right.
It's doubled on a horse as well afterwards
Yeah,
as well, right?
it's huge. So if it would be, say you would run, if you went 5, you could actually go up to 20 hexes.
20 hexes, huh? Oh, well, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd be able to close on her for sure.
I don't suppose
Partly
there's
what
a
Nelson was
trample
counting on.
option.
There is not, but we could figure something out.
Because, yeah, he would probably do the run and just, that's 17 hexes, try and bowl her over, Rosie. With the horse. I don't know how injured she is from the,
Oh, I don't think she's injured at all, really.
yeah, or just hobbled for her, not like...
Well, you can do a charge, right? Technically.
Yeah.
Because that goes with the run action, I believe. Charge. Run action of at least 3 hexes, so you could charge her and attack with the horse, I would say. So that attack would be... So this would be a hardship. Yep, you would just run there, and then we'll do everything else after. I'm replying to your whisper. So
I think I'll
Okay.
do that.
So you're gonna move.
Basically.
You're 17.
I'll try. I'll do the charge and try and bowl her over, and then we'll do
God.
that.
Well, you might just kill her if you don't want to. I mean, there would be no way to like politely knock her over.
Okay, we'll discharge and see what happens. She might die.
All right, so go ahead and
Oh
so
my
you can
God.
move all the way there.
Well, Nelson's gambit pretty much worked. He was thinking it was going to be that easy.
So
but, oof.
you moved, use 5. 17. So what's so close? So not actually 5. 4. Yeah. So 6. And go ahead and make a. Go ahead and do a ride attack. This is, oh man, the damage I'm gonna say is at least a 10 post roll.
Right.
So ride, okay. So let's see here. So it's
You can do it,
she's
Rosie.
gonna
Get out the
dodge.
fucking way. Rosie,
Rosie.
I can feel it coming. She's fucked.
Oh no, I bet she's gonna dodge.
Why
I
would
don't
you
know.
say
I
Eight.
feel it.
It's
Yeah,
a
that's
It's a-
why. That's
so-
like a reverse butt
it's a
pad.
hit. What was your ride? 12. Did you put a hardship in there, right? Yeah. Okay. 14. She needs to make a death roll.
Dun,
Okay.
dun.
Oh my god. What does she have to get?
She
This
needs-
is going to be
What does she
so
She
have
needs
interesting.
to get a 14 because
Oh, I bet-
because yeah,
I mean-
14.
She can. That's pretty low. Yeah.
So, Joe, you ride her down and trample her. Maybe a little bit on accident. I don't know, but
she's dead.
Yeah, Mary is just tracking him and is just looking on with disbelief, and she screams, "Rosie, no!" And just starts running forward to Rosie.
yeah, you can run double your.
Shoot him.
How far would you like to go?
How far can
you
she
can
go?
go 10.
Okay. So she can make it to Rosie?
Yeah,
basically.
you should be able to make it there.
She is really not paying any attention to Joe. She's just concerned that Rosie looks extremely
Nelson, what are you gonna do?
Well, he wasn't expecting Mary to run
Yeah.
into his open arms. Let me see. So he's at 6.
Yep.
Yeah. After that, shit. Yeah, Nelson moving up would be like 5 at least to get there.
You're on a horse.
But you said he
You're
can
on a
charge and
horse,
then
too.
shoot, right? But it'd be a massive minus,
You
yeah?
can't charge and shoot. Charging is a melee only thing.
But could he charge and tackle Joe off his horse?
Try. Be interesting.
Yeah, he'll go for that. This guy is just killed a civilian, so he's like all in. So I mean, it's like I mentioned, it's there and then there, so that's yeah, it's like 14. So
14
7.
hexes. So that's actually 3.
Oh, it's 3. Oh yeah, because the charge is a lot faster.
Yeah, because you're on
isn't it?
horses.
So
3 times 2 times 2.
Boop, boop. Yeah, like so, pretty much.
That's
I can see it on my other
That's
screen. I didn't
14
notice.
hexes. So
Yep, and I'll adjust him there, and yeah, he's gonna basically go and attempt to throw himself off his horse onto Joe, or just outright basically horse tackle Joe with his own horse. pretty
you
much.
can
Just-
do the exact
he's
same
looking to get
thing.
him.
Go ahead and do a. Are you gonna hit Joe? I mean, I would think you would hit the horse, right?
Actually, yeah. I mean, if he takes out the horse, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, he'll
Okay,
try and
so
take out
the
horse.
problem is that Joe just was at a run, so you're at a -5.
Okay.
So plus a hardship. So let me
Alrighty.
look at that attacking mounts thing.
Oop, that's skill.
This might be a fun time. Did you implement that fan shot?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the fan
we
shot.
can do the fan shot. I don't
Oh
think
my
I wrote
gosh,
it
yeah.
down, but I know what it is.
It's for our fans out
Yeah.
there, like Bruce.
Okay. Yeah, and you should roll ride agility anyway on this.
Ride, right? You
Mhm.
said. Okay. Here we go. So hopefully he does. And what do I add to this?
-1 hardship and a -5 on the additional mods.
Ooh, what kind of target is it? Is it just,
He's gonna
he goes
dodge.
Oh,
Don't
shit.
run over Mary, whatever you
Hmm.
do.
God, yeah, that's a lot of minuses there. All right, yeah. I mean, he's going for it. So 1 hardship and -5.
Mhm.
He's going to attempt to use his horse to get Joe's horse. And then pre-roll mods -5. There we go. Oh, it's 9.
Okay, so the rider
Shit.
make use a
Joe's
dodge
gonna do it.
action as normal, but since he's not actually hitting you, yeah, just do dodge. It's fine. Oh, I'm sorry. It says roll ride, so you're gonna
Roll right.
Shit.
Yeah, you don't. You aren't. He is able to pull on the reins and move the horse out of the way. And it is Joe's turn in this just cluster over here.
What action point is he on? I can't.
He's
see
on
it.
7.
He's on
He's
7.
on 7. You're on 6.
So tell me about fan shot before I decide.
So fan shot will give you a negative. You get a hardship, but it allows you to fire at a rate of fire of 2. It would expend half your pistol. But if you hit, and what rate of fire does, basically whatever your success is at the end, if you hit, you get times 2 to your damage. So levels of success times 2.
And what's the bonus for point blank
range? Point blank range, there's no bonus. It's just you. There's no negative. That range band stuff, like, it doesn't come into play.
Well, it's a Western. What's a Western without a fan shot? So he's going to aim for one action and then do a rate of fire. So if I do a rate of fire of 2, it's...
And it does, I think I said it actually does, so say that again, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I'll do an aim to bring me up to 7.
Yep.
Which is the same as Nelson's, but I go first, so then I would fan shot him. So that would be how many hardships?
1 hardship.
Okay. How would I take 2 aims?
You can't. They're at 7 right now.
Oh.
Nelson would get to go. Yeah.
Oh, 7. Okay. I
would take as many aims.
Yeah,
as
just
I
the
could.
1. So you would have
I mean,
1
really.
benefit, 1 hardship, and then Nelson can dodge.
I was gonna say Nelson was out of run as well.
Yes, and
so
it's a
that...
-5. Oh, so Joe, actually, okay, so you ran last time, so you're in a running state. So, and he was in a running state, so it's -10 additional modifier plus 1 hardship for fan shot. So
am I able to stop my horse on action 6 then?
So basically what happens is your next action after you run, you get -5. And then he ran as well, so when you're trying to shoot somebody running, that's also a -5. So it's combined, it's a -10. So if you wanted to do a fan shot,
it's going to be negative. So we're both going to be -10 then.
Yes.
Or well, no, because Joe already ran last turn, and then
if you shoot, if you do anything but run, then he's just going to be at -5.
Gotcha. -10.
It's gonna be rough.
Plus a hardship.
And he gets to dodge.
Oof.
Nah, why not? He'll
Oh, this is gonna be good.
One benefit, 1 hardship.
Yeah, if you hit, he's got a good chance.
He's pretty fucked, yeah.
Alright, let's see if I can get this figured out. Pistol.
Music is perfect.
1 benefit.
Holy shit.
1 hardship. And then -10. We'll see how bad I miss. Point blank.
Point blank. 13, so go ahead and roll your dodge.
That's not bad. Does Nelson get any bonuses or minuses to dodge?
No.
Cool. Alright, straight dodge. Nelson, don't you fuck this up. Here. You can do it, boy.
Oh, he did it.
Oh, he did it very much so.
Just pop, 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 and then nothing
pretty
happens.
big
I don't
dodge.
think the API kicked off, does. Just... can you take 3 bullets out of your gun there, Sticky Joe?
Yeah, give me 1 second here.
Okay, so he turns around and just compresses the hammer a bunch of times, but somehow they do not hit.
And it's Nelson's go, right? Yeah, so he...
No, I think it's Mary's. You're both at 8. Oh, no, you're at 7. Go ahead. Yep.
Or he's at 7, yeah. So he sees this, so he's going to aim once. And then it'd be Mary.
So Nelson's aiming, and Mary goes.
Yeah, you see him raise his pistol up. Not firing yet, but getting the best shot he can, pretty much point blank with Joe, horse to horse.
Mary has reached Rosie, and it's pretty obvious that she is gone.
Yeah, she's actually just like coughing up blood.
Mary looks up really angry and aims her rifle. Damn it, Joe, why'd you have to do this? And she tries to shoot his horse.
Okay, so let me look at the first thing here, because the first thing is your point.
I didn't think she'd go for the horse.
Point blank with a horse.
I was gonna ask her to earlier, but then I was like, no, she'd never do it.
Point blank with a rifle. Okay, so.
Oh my god, this is escalating so quickly.
You guys just needed to talk it out.
I mean, Nelson was like, yeah, we can talk it out, back at the jail. He's like, nah, this is some fucked up, crazy ass shit going on. I'm not having some guy sneaking around here. He's wanted anyway, so he's got full, he's like all set to do whatever he wants.
All right, we're getting into a bunch of like nitty gritty rules, so just give me a second. I know it's taking a little while.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask as well. So since Nelson aimed and then someone else went, or is it just the next specifically like to shoot or to do something like that?
If you change your target,
running,
your aim will go away. But
no, I mean, because he ran, and then
you have no -5 anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So long. So you're at 1 hardship. Because
I'm close.
Yeah. I don't imagine she's thinking about it.
And so point blank, he's not going to dodge. This is so 15. So 7. I'm sorry. Your base defense is what, Joe? That should be. It's not usually. Well, it's actually 14.
My base defense.
Yeah,
is 14.
so that hits it for 13. So I don't have stats for these things, but I'm pretty sure that they're not. I'll just give him a 10. So that would be a wound. Give me a second.
I don't think a horse is gonna keep on moving under your direction once it gets shot. To be honest.
If I can get through all this other shit I put in here recently. Alright, so go ahead. Mounts that take a one.
Animal handling, maybe.
Yes, well, ride. Mounts do not dodge on their own. Range attack uses the mount's base defense. So I don't think it would be 14, honestly. It's probably more like 10 at the most. So I'm just going to say 10. So 10, 15, 5, plus, so 17. Yeah, the horse, you just kill it.
Oh shit.
You just, how does that look as you just point blank range, put your rifle up to it and blast it?
Mary just stands up from where she was near Rosie and points the rifle first at Joe and then down at the horse's head. She kind of whispers, "I'm sorry, but Rosie's worth a horse." And she shoots. And the horse just maybe wobbles for a second before collapsing.
Joe, go ahead and make me either a ride agility or acrobatics agility.
Or acrobatics, you said.
versus a 17.
Give me 1 second.
Well, you don't fall. I mean, you were able to jump off the horse as it falls, so you're not like thrown to the ground at the very least. Nelson, you actually should be at 9 because you dodged earlier, by the way. Can't keep forgetting that, but you're still up.
Mary, as he dismounts,
Sorry, I was muted.
points the rifle at him and then says,
Shit.
"Run."
Yeah, I was gonna say, wouldn't Joe be at 11 then when he dodged
I don't
as well?
think he ever dodged, did he?
Or when I went in with the horse.
Oh, then yes, he should be. Doesn't change anything, but
Now you can talk while
Oh,
doing
yeah,
an
sure,
action,
go ahead.
right? Yeah. Now, if Nelson were to tell him to drop his weapons, this is his last chance.
you can
Would Joe have the opportunity?
you
to
can
do that?
do a what's it called? A readied action. I don't think that's what it's actually called, but basically you spend 5 AP, and if he does something that would trigger it, you can attack.
Oh, so basically, I could set
Mhm.
that up, and then if he doesn't do it, I
Correct.
shoot. Okay, so I will aim one more, which will put me up to
Mhm.
10, and then I'll do a prepared to shoot and tell him, "This is your last chance. Drop your weapons."
That puts you at 15.
So he's got 2 aim and
Get Rosie out of there.
ready to
Fat
fire.
Token is in the way. All right, what do you do, Joe?
Joe reads the situation and kind of looks at Nelson, then spits on the ground, looks at Mary, and goes, "I'm telling you right now, if you ever want to see Ladybug, you're making a mistake helping out this fuck here." And he kind of drops his gun to the ground.
Mary. He kind of motions his other hand, keeping his pistol well trained on Joe. Grab that rope and tie him up. I'll keep an aim on him.
Mary
Girl.
walks over, starts tying Joe up. God damn it, why didn't you just run when you had the chance?
I'm trying to help you, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah, you
You're right,
helped
this is what
Rosie
I
there
thought,
into an early grave.
Yeah, next time you look over at Rosie, her mouth is full of blood. It's from her nose to her mouth and out her ears, and she's not moving any longer.
She said Jessa was going to send you to kill her, and she was right.
Rosie got herself killed. It had nothing to do with Jessa. That dumb cunt's been lying to you the whole time.
Don't bother, Mary. Get his mouth while you're at it. He's coming in one way or another. Murdering a woman.
Mary ties him up and starts to gag him and says, "I take no pleasure in this."
Joe kind of
Alright, Mary.
doesn't stop looking at Mary like, "You're making a mistake."
She looks at him and at Nelson. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She can't really hide her emotions very well, and she does display a good deal of reluctance and uncertainty, but he rode Rosie down, and as far as she's ever seen, Nelson's tried his best to be her friend, so that's what she's doing.
Yeah, Nelson sees this. I don't know what he's like, Mary, but he killed her. And from what she was saying, she was right. Miss Jessa sent it. We gotta get back to the sheriff, or to the mayor even. Let him know what's going on. Go ahead and...
But what about Ladybug?
Oh, don't you worry. None of this is going to get out. We'll go to the mayor, and we'll head straight out there and get her if she is alive.
Maybe I should head over there.
Ah, you saw this. She's willing to send someone to kill him. Who knows if she has other people out there.
She didn't last time I was there, and that was last night.
Joe
Mary.
kind of rah, 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 like he's trying to say something, trying to convince them to get the gag.
Yeah, no, presuming he's been put on the back of Nelson's horse and tied on, he kind of sends an elbow back into him.
Damn it. Even tying his mouth won't do nothing. Mary,
Mama.
listen. As long as you come with me and we can get this solved, I can help you. We can try and get that back. But if you go back there and something happens, at that point I don't know how the mayor would take it. Now I got proof here that he's murdered this woman. If you help me, you get the mule, we get her back to town, get her a proper burial at least. But you go off that way. Well, for one, I have to get him back. I can't carry two. I don't want to leave her
Mary
out here.
looks at Nelson and looks at Joe and looks down at Rosie again. All right, I'll get the mule.
Thank you, Mary. Trust me. I'm not going to stop till I see this solved proper. I just wish it'd been... He kind of looks off towards Rosie's body. I wish it'd gone better than this.
And as Nelson and Mary look at Rosie's lifeless corpse covered in blood, and Joe attempts to speak through the gag, the screen pulls back with Jessa having a drink in her office, and then the screen fades to black.
I don't even know what
Holy
to do at
fuck.
this point.
Oh,